Something like this. Hit it.
The Roger Report live morning show, weekdays at 9 a.m.
Say y'all, I was on Roger's panel a few times and I couldn't take it. The heat. I got out the kitchen. It was hot. I was sweating. I had to get out.
He's Roger, and he's right.
Check this out.
We can live or die. You choose. I have spoken to you a lot of times in hatred and anger, and you have not heard me. Well, you had better hear me today. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillars. And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right to live?
Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Roger Report Live, the best show on social media. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and take a moment out to hit that like button, because this is where you're going to find the best content on social media. And you don't have to worry about it because you're going to have me right here to make sure that happens. And if you've already been coming to the channel for a while, then go ahead and hit that like button, because you already know what time it is. And you know that this is where you're going to get the best content on social media. It's not a mystery to you at this point. You've seen other people do it. You've even seen some people do it well. But what you haven't seen is anyone do it quite the way I do it. So make sure you hit that like button. And everyone, yes, everyone, take a moment out to share the content, y'all. There are so many people who need to get great content like this, and it's just a small thing you can do to help the world be a better place. And isn't that what we want at the end of the day? Don't we want the world to be a better place? Of course we do. So share the content out. Share it through your social media. Share it through word of mouth, or even text someone's phone. But do what you got to do to help spread the word. All right, folks, we are back with another great episode, y'all. We're going to deal with Black Men Must Suffer. Okay? Black men must suffer because it's better for America, y'all. All right? And that's the sentiment that's out here. So it is what it is, y'all. It's just better for America. You know, black men must suffer because it's better for America. All right. And we're going to deal with some of this in a bit. But before I get started, first of all, let me say shout out to all the people who give me views on a regular basis, because that's how the channels are built. You know, that's fam at the end of the day. Appreciate each and every one of y'all. Shout out to the people who hit that like button. Okay, it's always good to do that. Shout out to the people who hype me up every chance they get. Appreciate you big time. And shout out to the people who leave comments after the stream. All this helps with the algorithm and helps spread the word. So you're doing, a great justice to us all by doing those things. So shout out to each and every one of y'all. Appreciate you big time. And shout out to the people who go above and beyond the call of duty, who become financial contributors of the channel, because y'all are just really, really important people that make a lot of great things happen, because I couldn't do things the same way without you. And that's just being real. So shout out to each and every one of y'all who have done that. And shout out to the Golden Child 325 specifically, because he is the sponsor of today's stream. Shout out to you, my brother. Shout out to you. Appreciate you big time. Appreciate you big time. Okay. And let me give a shout out to some of the first people to check in this morning, because it's always great to see people chiming in when you're getting something started. But y'all know how I go over here at the Roger Report Live. There can only be one. So shout out to the Highlander of today's stream. My main man, the Great Black Reset, is in the building. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Shout out to my main man, Trail Billy. Follow him right on up, representing as he always does. Hashtag long live the habitual line steppers. Hashtag Negroes in the wilderness. Hashtag dignity over vagina. Hashtag Al Gore's babies. My personal favorite, hashtag Hey Hydra. Shout out to you, my brother. Shout out to you. We got the pit master himself, Chef Mike's Roundtable is in the building. Always good to see you. Always good to see you. Shout out to him and the rest of the pit crew. And that's real talk. My main man, Floyd Thompson, is here. Yay, yay. Good to see you. Good to see you. We got 7-9 Kaliakate is in the building. Great to see you, brother. Kenzie in Red, what's up, my friend? Glad to have you. Glad to have you. The pit crew representing. There go Mr. Suge to you. Good to have you. Good to have you. MJD the second is you might have a point. You might, but glad to see you, my brother. Shout out to Inspired Truth Broadcast. Great to have you. Great to have you. I'm listening. I'm pulled up to the cool table. Glad to see you. Micah Watson is here. Great to have you. Great to have you. We got the Black Toxic Masculinist is in the house. You know what? I think they had you in mind when they came up with this stuff, man. I think they might have specifically had you in mind. At least some of them folks. But you'll see as I get started into this. And shout out to my main man, Red Pill Sleeper Cell is in the house, y'all. I'm going to deal with some of the things that are happening because America has decided that black men just gonna have to suffer. Okay. And I understand it sounds bad. I get that, y'all. I get that. And I'm going to we're going to take a day out, y'all. It's a Friday. We're going to have a little fun. We're going to take a day out, y'all. We're going to take a day out. And we're going to deal with how black men are being made to suffer in America, y'all. You know? And I'm inviting everybody up. If you just want to be up for, half a minute, 1 minute, 2 minutes, and get on up out of here, you can. But I want us to really look and, kind of dive into how black men, how we have to suffer because of all these different things that America is doing to us, y'all. Now, let's keep it real. America that made us a target of racism since before America was the America that it is today. Okay? Let's keep that real. Okay? They've been on track record for doing it for at least 1619. Now, I ain't going to tell you what happened in 1492. Okay? I ain't going to tell you what happened. 1493 might have been different. You know what I'm saying? Who knows what was going on in 1505. But they at least on record for 1619 and beyond. And they ain't stopped since. All right? And, the media pushes a lot of stuff to get people to buy into narratives that don't necessarily make sense. Shout out to Kojo. I see you coming in the building. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. Okay? And America has done a lot to try to make sure that black men and black women do not get together so they can have their version of the American dream. See, America's been very consistent that they don't want a nigga to enjoy the American dream. America been extremely consistent on this. In order for slavery to stop, black men literally had to go to war. Okay? There was all type of little revolutions going on that history don't want to tell about. You hear about Nat Turner, but you don't hear about all the rest of the revolts that were going on. History don't like to prop things up. Okay? So black men been fighting for a long time. And then, America, well, they had an idea, let's just turn the women against the men. And America been working hard to turn black women against black men. Yes, even back when slavery was still legal on all levels in America. Yep. And they've been doing a great job because let's keep it real. A lot of black women are white supremacists at the end of the day. You know, a lot of people forget that white supremacy is just an idea. It's an idea that anyone can participate in. And America teaches everyone to be a white supremacist. Now, whether you accept it or not is one thing, but America teaches it to you, period. And if you done messed around and went to a public school, you know, you was a little kid going to public school, you messed around, was a young adult reading magazines from America, you reading books from America, you watching television from America, you watching movies from America, you've been getting all types of white supremacy messages basically your whole life. And unfortunately, there's a lot of black parents who don't give children a counter narrative so they can think in a different way and kind of understand what the game is. A lot of us do get caught up. And unfortunately, we got to get to certain ages to start figuring out what's going on. Now, I'm going to say the men kind of snap out of it a little bit quicker because of how white supremacy is aimed at us. Black women have never really been the target of white supremacy other than don't cooperate with your man. That's what they tell women. Or just don't cooperate with black men. They the worst of the worst of the worst. And a lot of black women have bought into that. But black men, because they are so benevolent, they still deal with black women when a lot of us really shouldn't. And that's just real talk. Okay, a lot of us really shouldn't, but we deal with them anyway. And now a lot of women are a little bit upset. They're online. They're making videos about it. They're saying it in social media posts. There's a lot of different ways they're saying stuff about what black men ain't doing for them, or what they are doing, it ain't enough. And if they are doing something, and even if it sounds like enough, they're not doing it the correct way, which still makes it not enough. They continue to complain about the stuff we ain't gave them, the stuff we not doing right. We're not doing it to their specifications. And you know what? Women at this point, they really, really believe that men are supposed to work hard so they can achieve a woman. It's got to be some of the dumbest things going on, but this is America. And it's happening all over the place, y'all. We present this stuff as if it is a man's job to win a woman. Now, let's be realistic, y'all. And I'm going to keep pushing this message to brothers get it. You take care of the woman. She don't take care of you. Why are you trying to win someone to pay for? People are supposed to win the opportunity so someone will pay for them. Y'all ever went to a game show? When you go to a game show, sometimes they got washing machines, sometimes they got trips, sometimes they got cars. You know, they got all types of different experiences that you can have because you go on a game show. Now, why do you go on a game show and compete with other people? You do that so you can win the prize. The prize is that thing you get for free. Okay? People can compete so they can get money. We got a prize of $25,000. Well, people compete to win the $25,000. People compete to win the $50,000. Yo, game shows, I didn't see game shows go up to $1 million. Okay? There was a show I used to watch. Okay, I like the concept. I like how it went down. It was called Deal or No Deal. You make the right deal, you can walk home. I mean, you can walk away with $1 million. I guess if you win $1 million, maybe not going home, but you can walk away with $1 million. But let America tell it, as a black man, you supposed to be doing the best you can so you can find a woman so you can take care of her. And not only can you take care of her, you get to be dictated to how you're going to take care of her. Now, I don't know what kind of prize does that. Okay? It don't make no sense to me. Okay? All right. It sounds foolish to me to work to involve myself in a situation so I can spend my money for someone else to tell me what to do. That don't sound right to me. Now, I am not going to say I'm a genius, y'all. I ain't going to tell you I'm a genius. I just know I ain't a fool. Okay? I ain't saying I'm a genius, but I do know I ain't a fool. And we got this whole sentiment going on about how men need to suffer because they ain't good enough. There's people who are taking basic concepts of reality and trying to flip them on their head. There's people pushing different agendas out here. One of the main ones you might be familiar with is the male loneliness epidemic. That's kind of been getting around in the space, I say. I've been hearing words in a certain area on the internet. People talk about this male loneliness agenda. Now, I ain't saying people don't have a right to talk. Okay? They can say what they want to say. If they come to a certain conclusion, they have a right to come to the conclusion. People do have a right to be dumb. And I've said time and time again, stupidity is a choice. And a lot of people are trying to push the idea that America's suffering a little bit because the men ain't doing what they're supposed to do. Now, I just recently saw something on, I believe it was the top 5 alcohol companies in America, saying that they have about $22 billion worth of alcohol that has been made, ready to go, and unsold. That's a lot of alcohol. Okay? Now, the report that I was watching said the 5 top brands of alcohol. Okay? I don't know what they're charging for the alcohol, but when you say 22 billion, that's a lot of alcohol. I don't care how you break that down. That's a lot of alcohol. Now, the story that they telling is the men are suffering. All right? And you got a lot of guys on the internet who I think are just somewhat questionable. And they have a whole lot of concern with what a black man is doing with his dick. You got a whole lot of concern with that. But they do want people to believe they're not gay. Okay? And they'll say things like, y'all problem is y'all can't get women. And I thought about that as a grown man. I ain't never concerned myself with another man who couldn't get women. They never really came up, you know what I'm saying? But I'm a straight man, and I don't worry about what men are doing with their dicks. Okay? I never have, probably never will. They push this stuff out there. Those guys are incels. Now, incel is a real thing. I've seen reports about incel before people started using the term. I already knew there was an issue going on in white America where there were certain white men who could not get the white women that they wanted. And they use this term in involuntary celibate. That's what incel is, an involuntary celibate man, which is something that happens in the white community. And then dumb black people who don't think about stuff before they start saying stuff start also pushing, hey, you know what? You guys are incels. All right? And they say that to black men. And we are in a country where, unfortunately, black American women have chosen to be the hoes of America. Yeah, they have chosen to be the hoes of America. Because when I was growing up, they were not. Black women were not considered the hoes of America when I was growing up. Okay? Now, whatever was going on when I was a little kid, it is what it is. I just know they were not considered the hoes of America. Nowadays, people consider them the hoes of America. You got all kinds of men from all these different groups. And when they want to deal with a woman, if they're uncomfortable dealing with a woman of their group, they mess around with black women. And when they're done messing around with black women, they just leave black women alone and they go back to the group that they came from so they can marry, and be with, have a life with some other kind of woman. Now, I'm not specifying, I ain't calling any particular group out because they all do it. I'm not saying it's the majority of them, but the ones who have issues, they just come mess with black women until they get past whatever issues they got, and then they move on. Now, I ain't even mad at them. It is what it is. Because America allows you to be your own person. All right? It allows you to be your own person. Now, shout out to all my hoes, the monetized. Appreciate the super chat, my brother. Thank you for helping me get off to the good start. He says, I never thought I would come on the Roger Report and it be a boozy Friday, predicating it to the suffrage of black men. I love it. And into you getting better. Here's a 10-piece. Hey, well, thank you, brother. Thank you. I do the best I can, man. I do the best I can. And you know what? I don't mind getting better. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to run with that. I don't mind getting better, man. I do not mind getting better. Shout out to you, my brother. Shout out to you. Appreciate it big time. All right. And, as things continue to go on, a lot of people don't want to deal with their own realities that they've created for themselves. And you got people, a lot of black women are out here dry begging now. Okay, they're just straight up dry begging. A lot of women have put a lot of effort into telling men not to approach them. And there's men who bought into that. And now you have young men who grew up in a world where they think it's bad to approach a woman. I mean, it's dumb, but that's the world they grew up in. And I understand that they don't get the other side of that. Men have literally said, well, if you approach women, man, you might end up in jail. Now, I may think that's silly, but I have to accept the world that young man came up in. It was presented to him that he don't talk to no woman. Now, the women, they so stupid that they don't put a message out to not talk to them, to not bother them. Don't talk to me at the grocery store. That's not where I go to meet a man. Don't talk to me at the club. I'm trying to have fun with my girls. That's what I'm trying to do. Don't talk to me at church. It's inappropriate. No matter what you're talking about, they got a reason why you shouldn't talk to them. And now you got all these women on the internet salty about the fact that people ain't approaching them. You got to be super stupid for all this stuff to go together and you can't figure out what the problem is. Okay? Now, somebody may say, Roger, that's being harsh. Y'all understand stupidity is a choice. All right? If you are a functioning, normal human being, and we all do stupid things from time to time, but we also have to accept the reality that stupidity is a choice. We do dumb stuff because we just not being on point to where we need to be. And that's no one's fault but our own. Okay, that's no one's fault but our own. But when you want to make it somebody else's fault, you would say and do all kinds of irrational things. So some brothers stop hollering at women so much. Not hollering at them in the streets. Okay? Some other brothers never hollered at women in the streets. And you know what they start saying? There's a male loneliness problem out here. Now, the suicides didn't go up amongst men because we were, quote unquote, lonely. And I want people to really start thinking about how a lot of people amongst us, y'all, amongst black men, I want to have a discussion on what we have done to deal with being lonely. Okay? Now, I'm a single man. I've been single for a while. And a lot of people don't get it. They'll say, well, why ain't you single? Because I ain't met a woman good enough for me. And that blows people's minds. What you mean you ain't met a woman good enough for you? Because a lot of y'all have the wrong concept. And I'm just talking about the y'all that fits. Okay? Because there's some of y'all that get it. And then there'll always be somebody who listening that didn't get it. You didn't get it. You say, well, what do you mean? I'm a man. I understand that life is not fair. Okay? I get past my own ego. You get too caught up in your own ego, it's going to cause you problems. So what do? I accept that for me to be with a woman, I'm going to end up paying for her. I'm not saying she won't spend any money or anything like that. Lord knows I'm not saying that. I'm saying realistically, when men deal with women, we end up usually spending more money than they do. And truth be told, most of us going to have more money to spend than they will. And the relationship can, go in a good, proper course at least some of the time. Now, there are women who out-earn men. And amongst black women do try to seek out men that they out-earn. And it seems that they like a good, significant number. So if they can get like $10,000 to $15,000 more than you make per year, they good with that. And a lot of folks ain't figured it out. You wonder why do black women mess with dudes who are in and out of jail? Because she got a job and he don't. She's gonna legally make $10,000 to $15,000 more than him easily because she go to work. Now, if she make $30,000 a year and he don't, now he could be doing illegal stuff to earn some money, but that don't count. So if she make $30,000 a year and he makes zero legally, in her mind, I make $30,000 more than him, I should be able to control this relationship. And if he don't like what I'm doing, I'll check him. And if it comes down to it, I will use the police to check him. I will tell the police what he's doing. I will tell the police where he's at. I will tell the police where his stash is. I would set him up. It is what it is. It is what it is. And y'all may say, well, Roger, that sounds horrible. Well, how could a woman be with the man and, she working with the police to keep him in check? It almost sounds crazy until I had to think about the fact that black women been working against black men for a long period of time. And it blew my mind the very first time that I found out black women was having sex with the Klan. Now, why did it blow my mind that they were having sex with the Klan? Because it was the husbands. It was black women who had husbands also having sex with the Klan. I got the single women would do it. Black women been having sex with white men since slavery. That's been documented. But when slavery came to an end, segregation came through. Some of this stuff was supposed to get separated. But black women continue to voluntarily have sex with white men. I got that. I understood that. But being a cool person, you would think that they would leave the Klan out of it. But they didn't. Okay? They would literally go to the Klan and say, look, I'm finna give you this box tonight, but do me a favor. When you get a chance, get the fellas together and come by my crib, and scare the Jesus out of my husband so he can act right. Now, you got to think about this from the Klan member's perspective. Wait a minute. I don't like niggas, but I do like pussy. She comes, she gives me pussy, and then she tells me to go harass a nigga. How is this bad for me? It ain't. Hey, boys, we riding tonight. Okay? We riding tonight. What's going on, Paul? We got us a nigga to get harassed, One of my girls here, she wants a specific nigga harassed, and we gonna get him tonight. Okay? We riding tonight. And it's gonna go off like clockwork. Now, I'm no fool, y'all. I know black women have been having sex with white men even after slavery came to an end. I got that part. But the first time I thought about them going to the Klan to request that they harass their husband, that was wild to me. That was wild. But hey, it is what it is, what it is. All right. So America as a whole have, and black women have sided with this, that we gonna make black men suffer. And we're not gonna be good enough to be in a relationship, so they don't want us like that. And that we've proven that because it's about 75% of black women who are unmarried. So black men have proven that they may want to have sex with you. Black men may want to have sex with black women, but they don't want to marry them. Now, black women get upset about this, but ain't that what everybody else doing in America? They get mad at black men for not marrying them, but you don't get mad for white men not marrying you. Now, don't get it twisted. I understand there's a lot of black women who are salty that white men ain't marrying them, but they don't operate as if they're mad that white men ain't married. They really dislike it. I say that they really dislike it, but they keep trying to impress that white man and trying to convince that white man to give her a chance. I can be a good wife to you. Okay. So they're not getting mad in the context that they're going to create a problem for the white man. Now, you may say they mad, but they're mad in the context of I'm going to do more for this white man so I can prove to him he should take me on as a wife. Now, you can say, well, black men don't marry black women either. And you would be correct because a general statement does mean most. And if you got about 75% of black women who are unmarried, then truth be told, most black men won't marry them. I get it. Now, in order to make black men look bad, a narrative had to be created. So they're using this male loneliness thing, and they're saying other things, but I think that's the newer term that people are coming up with that's probably a little bit more familiar to people listening to the channel. This is the term folks are coming up with. All right. So y'all, I want to have a talk about some realistic stuff. What are black men doing because they're not investing as much into black women and having a family with black women? Because there's things that people are trying to hide as best they can. Like the fact that black men don't want to have babies with black women. Now, black men clearly overall love black women. They do. I ain't going to take that from them. I see what's going on. I can't sit here and tell you the truth and argue that black men don't love black women. Now, people may say, well, if they love black women, how come they won't marry? But they don't like them. That's all. See, like and love is very different. I got a brother. I love my brother. My brother could do something to piss me off. And I may not like my brother for a while. Heck, families do stuff all the time. You can have a grudge with somebody. You might have a 10-year grudge. Okay, let's say I'm having a 10-year grudge with my brother. I don't like my brother, but I still love my brother. If my brother needs some help, I'm going to still help my brother. I don't have to like my brother to help my brother because I love my brother. Okay? I don't like how my brother move. Okay, understandable. But if my brother need my help, I'm still going to be there. I ain't got to like how he move because I love him. Now, I may not talk to him. I may not, pick up the phone on a Friday night and have a conversation with him. But let's say he needs some help. Well, I'm still going to go by and help him because I love him. It's not done out of like. And black men do a whole lot for black women. So I see that they love black women. But now, because black men are operating out of love, but not operating out of like. Because back in the day, yeah, black men definitely operated out of like as well. Okay? So now, black men are deciding to do what's better for them. And for a lot of us, is be alone, wait till the right woman comes along, then marry her. Some people say, hey, you know what? I'm going to start messing with these other women. There's other women out here besides black women. Let me give me one of them. And there's folks who are even going overseas. Shout out to the passport bros. You know what? It's better fish and it's better places to fish out there. I'm going where the fish at. Okay. I don't like these fish over here. Let me go on where some better fish at. And black men are doing this. So today, y'all, I really, really want brothers to discuss a little bit about the things that we are having to do to cope with the fact that we are not with a woman. Okay. We've all been single from time to time. And I want black men to really talk about how we're coping with the fact that we are not currently dealing with a woman. And you don't have to talk about something that happened today. You can talk about something that happened in the past, because you may be with a woman right now, but you've had a time in your life where you weren't with a woman. So I want to start talking about some of the stuff that you end up doing because you're not with a woman. All right. And I want people from America and whoever gonna hear from around the world. Shout out to all my listeners around the world. I want them to hear what it's like to suffer because a man is not with some woman that he's married to. Okay. He's not dealing with things from this married lifestyle standpoint. Now, I ain't mad at nobody who's married. I'm a very, I believe in marriage big time. I have yet never said marriage is the problem. The only problem that comes up in marriage is not the marriage itself, it's just the people who are involved. Sometimes we marry someone who shouldn't have been married in the first place. It happens because men ain't perfect. So we have to accept that sometimes we're going to pick a woman that we should have never picked. It just is what it is. Okay? But there is some suffering that you have to do when you're not with a woman. Now, I'm going to say shout out to black men. It looks like an unfortunate result of black men not being married to black women as much. They starting to live a little longer. Did y'all hear that? It sounds like black men starting to live a little longer. They didn't get married, and they mess around and start living a little longer. Now, I don't know how. You want to explain that. I don't know how you want to explain it. To me, it's kind of obvious. A brother is dealing with a little more peace than what he was expected to deal with. He's dealing with a little more peace than what he's expected to deal with. All right. There's some things that we have to choose, y'all, because we're not so engulfed in what this woman wants. And I'm not saying it's bad, y'all. Don't ever think for a second I'm trying to say it's bad to be married. It's bad to, have children with your wife. It's bad to be in a loving relationship. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is I also want to talk about how black men are coping if they don't happen to be in that situation. Okay, that's all. How are we coping if we are not in that situation? And shout out to No Placeholder. Thank you very much for the super sticker, my brother. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Shout out to you, my brother. Shout out to you. Now, you don't have to be married to say something about this. I mean, you don't have to be single to say something about this. If you're married and you know how single men are dealing with the fact that we're going through this male loneliness type situation, okay? Now, I'm going to be realistic, y'all. I'm going to be realistic. And it's something that I'm not doing right now, but I want to do it. It's just my lifestyle at this particular point is a little too busy, so I don't really get to do it the way I want to do it. So, yeah, there's single men out here, y'all. There's single men out here. And because they're single and they're not dealing with the woman on a day-to-day basis, okay? You know what I found out these lonely men, quote-unquote lonely men, were doing? There's men who are online having a fantastic time. Okay. And I'm gonna start with the an area that black. You know what? I'm a hold off. I'm a hold off, y'all, because you know what I got? I got the one, the only, Mr. Z, who done came up. Okay. And I ain't really even got into my bag yet, but I like Mr. Z. I rocks with Mr. Z. He cool people. He cool people. And I know he knows a little bit about this particular subject matter, about how black men are dealing with being alone. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say it because on my show, I'm gonna say it, Missy. Let me just throw the first thing out there, y'all. There's an online gaming situation out there in America, y'all.
God damn it, Raj.
Well, you're gonna have your
Go
crack
ahead, go ahead. You over here stealing. Go ahead, Raj. Go ahead.
But that's what I was gonna really say before you came up. This is what I was really gonna get on, yo. And this online gaming situation, y'all. Now I know a little bit about it because I did participate in a little bit. And y'all, I told y'all beforehand I had a surgery, and I took the whole 6 weeks off. And that 6 weeks was fun as I don't know what. Why? Because I got involved in that online situation. Okay. My main game at that particular point was Call of Duty. All right. I had a fantastic time playing Call of Duty. Okay. I started making friends with people that you wouldn't expect for me to be friends with because we was playing Call of Duty. Okay. I remember one specific 12-year-old that I recruited to my squad. I had a little squad, me and my friends, we squad up. It's Call of Duty, you play with team. I remember I met this 12-year-old. This dude was so vicious. I said, bro, you need to come play on our squad. And he joined the squad. The little 12-year-old was vicious. Now, I'm in my, 30s at the time? So I'm friends with a 12-year-old now through a game, okay? Now, I ain't never met him in person. But we was friends, okay? We was online friends, all right? We was online friends. Now, I'm playing with 30-year-old some people, I'm playing with some 20-year-old some people because, the crew started with people I actually known, day-to-day life stuff. But along the way, you start picking up some new online friends. So it was amazing to me that we was in our 30s and we friends with a 12-year-old. But that 12-year-old was putting work in, y'all. He was putting in work, okay? He was putting in work. I was playing the game. That man, and the people who know about Call of Duty, y'all get it. That man had 40 kills, 1 death, okay? I was impressed, okay? I'm going to tell you right now, y'all. I was impressed. He had 40 kills and 1 death. 40 and 1? I said 40 and... Come on, man, you got to come join the crew, all right? You got to come. And we had a good time with him. He was a kid, but, we would curb our language a little bit because he was only 12 and whatnot. But he was fun. He was fun to have. He was fun to play with, and he was vicious on that game. He was vicious. And that's when we decided, hey, you know what? We get it, y'all. We older men now. We don't have the time to put in. We don't have the time to put in like we want to. So it's hard to be better than these kids. They get home from school and they could just play. You know what I'm saying? Because we men, we had egos, and this little kid is wrecking shop. We thought we was good. This little kid was wrecking shop. Okay, so we had to accept that. You know what? They get to play when we can't. They gonna be better than us. They gonna have more practice. It is what it is. Let's just make sure we keep doing our thing. But at least we got this youngster on our squad now, so it's all right. It's all right. And shout out to Inspired Truth Broadcast. He said, Call of Duty Zombies tax. Hey, I that is something I definitely can appreciate. I definitely can appreciate it. And y'all, I'm telling y'all, one day I'll be retired, possibly still doing the Roger Report. I might do this till I die. We'll see. We'll see. But there's going to be a time that I'm going to be playing Call of Duty, y'all. I don't play it now. But I'm going to get back to Call of Duty. So I just say I'm going to do it when I retire. But I'm going to get back to Call of Duty. And I'm going to start wrecking these little kids too, okay? There ain't nobody going to do 40 and 1 on me. That's all I'm saying, okay? But go ahead, Mrs. Z. Go ahead, my brother. And my bad if I stole a little bit of your thunder, but I'm pretty sure
Just
you got
just a little bit, just a smidge,
I'm
just
sure
a
you
teeny
got plenty of thunder.
Right.
You know,
But
but I do want to say that's how I had to suffer. Because when I had that surgery, I was single. So it wasn't no girl coming over to take care of me. That's how I suffered. I had a ball playing Call of Duty when I really couldn't get up and move. I had a ball. That's how I suffered, y'all. I want y'all to understand that. That's how I suffered.
I see you, Rush. I see what you're saying. I see your framing.
Oh, we're going to do this all show. We're doing this all show. I really want America to understand that as a single black man at that time, when I really couldn't get up and move on my own and go out and do the stuff I wanted to do, I suffered like a mug having a good time playing Call of Duty. And you know what? I got to be there. I was online. My friend would get home from work. Boom, man, he'll chime in. I got this guy. He coming in from school. He'll chime in. What you been doing all day? Bro, I've been out here killing. That's what I've been doing.
Literally.
I've been out here putting work in all day because I couldn't get up and do squat. Okay, so that's what I'm telling them when they get home. Yeah, I've been out here killing all day. But shout out real quick. Shout out to the Great Black Reset. He say Grand Theft Auto 5 tax. See what you did there. And I see what you did, brother. Appreciate it big time. Shout out to the Great Black Reset. Appreciate you, brother. But y'all, I want everybody to let it be known how you done had to suffer. Or if it wasn't you, maybe it was your friends. But talk about how these men that had to suffer through this quote-unquote loneliness thing that we done had to deal with. Because me, I got caught out there with a surgery, and that's the time you want a woman, right? Women always talking about how y'all get hurt, y'all gonna be looking at us to do stuff. Well, I did it on my own, and I had a ball doing it. I did it on my own. I had a ball. But go ahead, Mr. Z. My bad.
No, you're good, Raj. So, worked at a firm, got let go, worked for the Clinton campaign in 2016. Clearly, she lost. And so I spent my very late 20s and my early 30s single at mom's house, parents' house, unemployed, playing Forza, happy as all get out, playing Forza, Wendy's dollar menu. Y'all couldn't see me in Forza. Y'all was gonna see these taillights. That's what you was gonna see, right? That's what you was gonna see in Forza, right? So, got on with an employer. Not gonna incriminate myself, and slowly rose up the ranks and did what I had to do, and promotion, and time invested, etc., etc. Single, and Raj, I had to suffer the indignity of playing Forza and Final Fantasy in peace in my room at my parents' house. The horror of having to play Forza and getting podium. Oh, Raj, and beating people with supercars with a Nissan Juke in Forza. Oh, the whining. I loved it. I was handing out L's. I was giving Porsches L's. I was handing out L's with a Nissan Juke, Nismo Juke, right? Oh, yeah, those days. Oh. Raj, I played Forza a week ago, but before that, I didn't play for like 3 months. Oh, it felt so good to play after 3 months.
Well, that time alone sounds horrible, brother. It sounds.
Oh my God, it was so torturous, Raj. It was the worst, right? And so, when things were simpler and less expensive, and I didn't have the overhead, and I didn't bite off too much life. Thank God, knock on wood, I still ain't bite off too much life, but I bit off way more life now than I had back then. And Raj, in all seriousness, we might be moving to a new normal. And we hear oftentimes the female persuasion, the female sex, speak about autonomy. And I don't think we really appreciate what that look like. When you scale autonomy for men and for women, that's a different type of world.
Well,
and go ahead, Rush.
Well, I don't want to cut you off, but I do got Great Black Reset here. Mm-hmm. What I want to do is tell the women about some of this autonomy and what a lot of brothers are doing with it. Because I think it's important for it to be out there. The truth needs to be out there. And ain't nobody gonna do it, so we gonna have to do it. Okay, ain't nobody gonna really put it out there, so we gonna have to put it out there. And shout out to No Placeholder. He says, Roger Report, can you say I'm doing better without you any louder? Look. That is not what I'm trying to say. That is not what I'm trying to say, my brother. It may sound like that. I'm just out here trying to tell folks how we have suffered through these little time frames where we have been unmarried. You know what I'm saying? The woman, we ain't had to put as much of concern in because there was no woman, there was no family. So we had to do other things with our thoughts and our time and our money. And I just want a little bit of this expressed. So no. I'm not saying I was doing better without her. Now, if me happen to have a ball when I'm supposed to be healing from surgery, and I'm having one of the best experiences of my life because I ain't going to work. I ain't doing nothing. I'm just at home, and I'm just online having a fantastic time. And that whole ideal about you gonna miss it when a woman ain't there to take care of you, man, that totally blew right past me. That blew right past. I forgot that I was supposed to be waiting on a woman to come see me. I forgot. But the Great Black
Raj,
Reset is here.
let me say this before you say that. Great Black Reset, real quick. So, Raj, not only was I playing Forza, I was eating documentaries for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? Reading articles for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You know, whatever I could find that didn't have a paywall attached to it. You know, a bunch of the stuff that we'll say have now been defunct off of YouTube because, you know, yours truly government decided to take it off. So the RTs and whatnot, but watching segments from that. So I'm informing myself also. Something else to emphasize, Raj, and you were kind of going to it. Single black men have nearly 3 times the wealth. Single childless black men have nearly 3 times the wealth of single childless black women. So what's also happening is we're not subsidizing anyone when we're single. We're only paying for ourselves. And if you're a man, you know how minimal you could get and still be happy and content, right? As long as you have your basic needs met and you can engage in whatever hobby you have or whatever entertainment, which probably isn't that expensive, you're pretty content. And so that's another part of it. There's a reason, and I'll end out with this, and I'm sorry, Reset. There's a reason why they're speaking about this loneliness epidemic, because what is implied, suggested, and just outright said is lonely single men, particularly lonely single young men, they might lean into violence. They're more conspiratorial, et cetera, et cetera. All of these social ills, right? And they're antisocial, but in reality, what's really not being said is what's antisocial is that you're not subsidizing. Shout out to Black Uru. Somebody got to pay for these 304s, right? And you're not engaging in that, and that's really what the problem is. What can't be said because of feminist framing is, look, she doesn't produce enough. She doesn't produce enough. We need you to take care of it. We know she's a spoiled brat. We know she an a-hole. We need you to pay and subsidize her. We need you to have kids. And we know she probably going to divorce your ass in 5 years if you black and 8 to 10 years if you're not black. But we need you to do it anyway. And if you're not overproducing, then what man are you? And Raj, we have to suffer the indignity when we're single of not hearing none of that and playing our video games and engaging in our hobbies in peace. Oh, the horror. And I'll pause right there.
Well, I'm going to say I've met a few young men online. Some of those young men they talking about, and this was so long ago, they would be grown at this point. And I'm going to say for that one that went 40-1 as a kid at 12, you know, I don't know what he's doing. He probably getting paid to play video games now. He probably one of them Twitch dudes. You know what I'm saying? Because he good. That's all I'm going to say. That boy good, okay? But Great Black Reset, glad to have you here. Where you want to go with this, my brother?
What's happening? Am I coming in loud and clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, you made me realize I have 3 times over suffered the male loneliness epidemic. And I'm here to talk about all my suffering. The first male loneliness epidemic I ever had was Madden. I was one of the Madden kings back in the day when they first started playing online. Man, me and my friends used to get together in the house, 5 or 6 of us, bang it out in Madden, and I used to get online and play dudes online. I remember that. We used to do this 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day. We were so lonely without them chicks. We had to play Madden and have a good time together. I remember. Then came along Halo. Oh man, the death matches in Halo. Once again, the lonely fellas, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day online. You playing with people from across the world, literally, that you don't made friends with. I'm talking about you friends with people you know their name and ain't never seen their face. I remember that. And the greatest, oh, well, I'm sorry, the worst loneliness epidemic I ever suffered. Back in 2013, I moved to Omaha, got this job, and all the guys on my job had Xboxes. I was a PlayStation fan, but they was playing GTA 5. I hadn't got it yet. Man, I got that game. I forgot women existed. All I did was go to work, save money, and play GTA 5. I looked up. I had 5 figures in the bank and had went on vacation in 6 months. I said, damn. My bank account got better. I was more productive on my job, and I was having more fun than I knew what to do with.
The torture.
And man, the women that I was dating like sporadically at that time, like, oh, you don't never spend no time with me. You just want to play that video game. I used to tell them all the time, y'all don't know what y'all missing with these games. Y'all don't understand. Just because the attention ain't solely on you, man, look at here. The gaming community, oh my goodness, bro. Oh my goodness. Yes, sir. I have suffered greatly with the gaming community. And I'm playing this game called Mech Wars now. That's a little mobile game. It's got me now. Man.
You know what we're talking about? What the games are able to do is tap into men's want for competition. So as we get older and we have to be adults and we have things to take care of and responsibilities, what video games allow us to do, especially if you're playing online, whether you're playing MMOs, whether you're playing first-person shooters, racing games like Mr. Z, all type of games that where you need to engage with other people. It's tapping into a form of competition that's inherent to our DNA as men. And so whether it's me and Forza, who purposely let people go in front of me at the beginning of the race if I feel like I started too close to the front, and then I try to hawk them down in the race. Sometimes I get up in podium, sometimes I don't, right? That's a form of competition. Whether it's Raj playing first-person shooter, whether it's a first-person shooter game, whether it's y'all playing whatever NFL Madden or whatever y'all playing, we're tapping into men's want for competition. Right, and that's a beautiful thing. So yeah, we have to suffer the indignity of maybe having a bad night and then just turning off the game, going to sleep, and going to work the next day. Oh, the horror! Oh,
Man, bro, they really don't get it. They really don't understand, and it's because they have this need for attention. And if you're having a good time and your attention is not on them, that's a problem.
Well, you know what, y'all? We got usual business coming up, so I'm gonna go ahead and let usual get the mic. I was about to get in and say something myself, but I'm gonna hold off. Usual business, good to have you, brother. Good to have you. Can you please tell us how you have, some of these ways you've dealt with this quote unquote male loneliness, brother? How have you suffered through these things? Let us know, please.
Suffering. I want to make sure can y'all hear me first?
Yeah,
Yes,
we hear
sir.
you great. Yeah, we hear you fine.
For on this game called Tekken 7 and called Tekken 8. You don't know the suffering I have done. I had a girlfriend. I looked up, she was going. I put my head back down again. The dude going up, put my head down again. Yeah. So suffering. So he's something so baby. So I also suffered the horrible torture that was also Halo. So I understand. Like he said,
Oh,
I understand your plight, bro. And so he understand your plight. I understand your plight.
oh man.
Well, I definitely
Oh,
appreciate you sharing, brother. I definitely appreciate you sharing because I want America to know. I mean, seriously, how black men done suffer because we've had to make these adjustments when these women ain't been in our lives to take up all our time, money, and energy. I want y'all to know what we gone through, y'all. And
that man,
go
there
ahead,
ain't no
go ahead.
there ain't no suffering in like being in Halo on the back of a warthog and mowing down the competition. It just ain't no suffering like that, man. I'm telling you.
Now,
The Great Black Reset. Let me tell you what suffering really look like. When you start off in 11th place in Forza, you let everybody else go, and you start that, which means you effectively actually start off in 23rd place, and then you huck everyone down and you win first place. Oh, the horror of the gold medal. The
I
horror
need
of watching your car be first place podium in front of everyone. Oh, the horror.
I
It
need
hurts your heart. You hate to see it. Go ahead.
I need your gamer tag so I know to cut my game off when I see it in the race. I just need it.
Hey, and I would give myself in Forza, I would give myself a solid B minus. I'm telling you, when them A plus Negroes get A plus men, better yet, when those A plus racing men jump on, I'm like, damn. Well, they go
Man.
first, second, and third. I ain't getting podium this race.
Hey, look, I don't want to hog the mic, but in a little bit, I'm gonna mention Mario Kart. Lord have mercy, Jesus have mercy.
hey,
You about to bring up the old days, bro.
yeah.
Hey, great Black Reset. Ain't nothing worse than being in first place in Mario Kart and then somebody shell your ass right
Oh,
before the finish line.
Bro.
oh my God.
Mario Kart's a doozy. I'm gonna tell you, Mario Kart's a doozy. That's for sure. Mario Kart is a doozy. That's just a classic right there. But y'all, we got somebody else coming up, y'all. We got somebody else coming up. So let me throw the mic to Suffering and Demonetized. You got the mic, my brother. How you doing?
Hey man, listen, I'm just coming up because hell, I was want to suffer with you guys. Just that simple. Everybody suffering, so we'll just suffer together, I guess.
What was your least favorite form of suffering, sir?
It had to be Madden 02, 03, all of them up until like 2000. 2010.
But he was in bondage, bro. Hold on, that man was suffering. That man was in
I'm talking about
bondage.
PS2 and on, man, just suffering.
Hey, it sounded like he quit when Michael Vick made the cover and everybody wanted to play with the Falcons.
Right around then, you are correct, sir.
Oh my
Just
God.
suffering.
And I was about to say something. But y'all, now we got Chef Mike's roundtable. Are you coming up? Coming up?
Oh, I bet you. Oh Lord. Man,
Now
you
everything's
sound
fine.
bad.
It's got to be fine.
Oh,
Chef
and
Mike,
Chef,
what's going on, my brother?
and the black reset. I raced Artisan MC. I don't know if y'all remember it. Well, I know Raj remember him, but I raced Artisan MC in Gran Turismo like 3 years ago. Ask him how that went.
Lord have
Ask him
mercy.
how that went. I'm just saying.
Well, hold on, y'all. I do think Chef Mike is trying to say something, but Chef Mike, I think something might be wrong with your mic. Yeah, are y'all hearing that?
Wrong with your mic, man. Something definitely wrong with your mic.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Chef Mike. We can't hear you.
I really want to hit on Chef Mike because that's what it sounds like when you're in paradise. Maybe your technology don't work correctly.
Well, you know what? It might be that.
All right, is that better?
But yeah, now
Much
we hear
better.
fine.
There you go.
All right. I do apologize for that, you all. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to find yourselves on this Feel Your Time Friday. Roger, what's going on with you? Good to see you always. Gentlemen, it's always good to share the panel with you all. I just wanted to let y'all know now. See, I stopped suffering a long time ago because I've been married a long time. I've been married a long time, almost 30 years. But I do remember in college when I did suffer. And you know what I did? We had this game called Golden Eye. 007.
Oh,
Oh
Nintendo
God! I know where you're
64.
going.
Brother,
I know
Nintendo
where you're going.
64.
brother,
1996.
brother. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He about to bring it up.
1996. Exactly. Let me tell you, we would be in the dorms at Payne College, and I'm trying to tell you, we'd have 3 floors. You know, you had to actually graduate. You had to go through competition to get to play on the TV in the
Come on, man.
in the lounge, like in it where you walk in the lounge. Yeah, you
Mhm.
had to actually earn the right to play there. You had to go through the tournament. We had our own tournament. You had to go through. You had to earn your right to be able to sit down in the lounge and play. Have motherfuckers watch you in the dog. We weren't worried about them chicks. You know why? And here's the other thing. This is the other thing about going to a small college and being in a setting like that. The women outnumbered the men 19-1.
Woo! I like
now,
the mom.
now,
Still wasn't looking for him.
now, you tell me who ain't gonna act right. All I can tell you is there's only one of my friends that I hung out with like that. There's only one of us that ain't married. The rest of us, we've been married all this time.
Well, shout out to each and every one of y'all, and shout out to that whole idea about earning and being able to play in the lounge. Whoever came up with that, master stroke. Master stroke.
Let me tell you, you want to see brothers like really practicing 007, like talking big noise. And here go the thing: when we wasn't doing that, we go up to the student center, because in the student center they had 2 pool tables. They had a spot where we played spades, tournaments.
Oh man,
dude, I'm trying to tell you. Now let me bring this forward for you, and let me let you know what I see young men doing now. What I see young men doing now is exactly what y'all talking about. Down here, my buddy got a bar. He got 2 TVs in the bar. He set up the switch on both TVs. Tournament, if you lose, you shot. If you win, you shot. But the loser buy your shot. Dog, I'm trying to tell you. And watch this now. He got a domino table sitting right next to the bar. So if we ain't playing Mario Kart, we playing dominoes. And you don't want to see all the women coming around trying to figure out what we doing. Coming around, trying to get up to buy a drink. Coming around looking, and we ain't worried about them. Cause I'm about to bust this dude head. Cause domino, get up, 3, get out, go. I'm trying to tell you, it's just like that. And I'm gonna land my plane right there, gentlemen.
Hey, I appreciate that, my brother. I appreciate that, my brother, because you're definitely going in the spirit that I'm going with. So shout out to you, and let's get Dirty Defender PS5 PS5 Xbox.
I'm done. I'm so dead. I'm so dead.
I think I see what he's doing too. Doing too.
It's Dirty Death Dealer.
I told you I got off of that. I got off of that PS5.
See? Look at that. Man, we ain't worried about y'all.
Actually, I'm suffering right now playing my PS5.
You have my condolences through your suffering, my brother.
I would never wish that on you, brother. I would never wish that on you. But I'm glad you were able to cope with your situation. You know, real talk.
I'm happy the Lord gave you the strength to fight through it, my brother. They gave you the strength to fight through it.
Listen, anybody that's suffering right now, I'm about to drop a phone number in the chat. That way you can call and get yourself some help and somebody to talk to.
Real talk. And shout out to No Placeholder. Appreciate the super chat, my brother. He said, Chef, remember grenades in the temple? GoldenEye.
Man, if you get that reference, you had a great childhood. I ain't like, if you get that reference, we can be friends.
them proximity grenades was everything.
Dude,
everything.
You don't understand. As soon as I got my hand on that cloud, dog, it was over. It was over.
Yeah, the proximity was the ones for me, man. Those was the ones, real talk. Shout out to my main man, Ryan Decipher. Appreciate you big time dropping big dollars. The $99.99. He said, I'm suffering bad. Going to my test. Excuse me. Going to going
He
to
going
test
to
my
test.
800 Wolverine suppressor with the fellas at the range tomorrow. Boy, you're gonna be suffering through that. He says ordering
Woo.
sushi this weekend. Going to replay Red Dead 2 on my 4K old HDR gaming monitor. Shout out to you for that. He said, I'm just here to give Roger my suffrage tax. Keep suffering, black men. Hey, appreciate you, Ryan Disciple. At least you think about us, man. At least you think about us. Real talk.
Hey, we need to give that man a round of applause because he's
Man,
suffering,
come on, bro.
man.
Yeah,
hey, you know
come
what?
on,
Shout
bro.
out to Ryan Disciple. Shout out to you, dog. Suffer on, brother. Suffer on.
You know how else we suffer? We have to suffer each other. We have to suffer each other, brothers. When we're single, we have to get online and stream and have brothers in the comments and brothers in the chat talking to each other, can't get the word out. Commiserating, there we go. Commiserating, and exactly. Commiserating and having conversation and laughing like we are now. The suffering with you, brothers, is one of the worst things I've ever had to deal with ever. It's the worst. Oh, I hate y'all, the sound of y'all voices.
Hey,
Shout out to y'all. Anyway.
Hey, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna jump down. I have suffered with some of these dudes on this panel for 3 hours online and then for another 3 hours at the round table. I mean, just suffering. It's
tough.
Building stuff with these brothers, getting, iron sharpening iron with these brothers. These brothers hitting me, I'm hitting it. We suffering.
It's tough. It's tough
Right there, Mr. Z. That
the,
I want
the suffering of knowledge, brother. The suffering of laughter. The suffering of the wisdom from the elders and the vitality of the youth. The suffering we have to do in the black manosphere because of the loneliness epidemic. Oh, we're so lonely that we're commiserating with each other online and laughing. Oh, the indignity of it all.
The true suffering is when you got to replace your controller because you don't threw it one too many times.
I'm saying. And shout out
I did
to
it playing Fight Night.
I just spent another $65, bro. Just spent another $65.
Yeah. Shout out to Brooklyn's finest. He says, respect to your continued great shows, Roger. Hey, appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that big time. I really do appreciate that. And I want to say, y'all, there's all kinds of ways that black men suffer because if you're not spending a bunch of extra money on women and trying to please women, and some of us, because, more than most of black men at this point don't have children. So unfortunately for us, we got to do something else with our money. And y'all know something I started doing? And I'm not gonna even say I'm proud of doing it, y'all. Y'all know when you was a kid, you go to somebody's house, right? And they had a little decorative towels, right? They had a decorative towel. Y'all know the towels. You see them towels. Those
You're not supposed to touch them.
Right. Those towels are to hang up. You don't use those towels. You use the other towels. And I understand it because the towels that people hang, they are made with a little bit more quality. They will last a little bit longer. They're just a better towel, so they're more expensive. Now, at some point in time, I don't know when it happened to me for sure. I don't want to say I'm getting bougie, but now I refuse to buy regular towels. If it ain't the good towels that you hang up, I ain't trying off of those. That's how I've been suffering, y'all.
Not the heavy, thick towels.
Bro.
That 300 count, bro.
Bro, if it ain't made to hang on that wall, I ain't buying it. That's real talk.
We want that 500. So you want that 500 counting up, bro. He said only the best, bro. Only the best.
I can't use them regular towels. And you know what? It was just, I'm single. I ain't got no kids. What towel do I buy? I was like, well, they hang these type of towels up. But I was like, well, wouldn't they be great towels to use, though? They made with a quote-unquote better quality, though, right? I can't use a regular towel no more. Okay? Now, I know technically I can use a regular towel, but I ain't going to never buy one. That's over with for me, So that's part of the suffering I've been dealing with, man. I had to buy these other So now I done set a bar that now, buying a regular towel just ain't going to do. It just ain't going to do. I was buying some towels not too long. What's that?
I said, congratulations, you done moved up to your dude wipe stage. Not buying those cheap ass pieces of toilet paper you've been buying.
Hey man, sometimes you just gotta move in a different direction. Sometimes you just gotta move.
Raj is the one that looked down on the hotel towel. Raj got to be the one that looked, ew, hotel towels, ew. Got hotel towels on my hands, ew.
You start doing things a little bit different, and your suffering comes out in sort of a different way. And see, y'all, I've had conversations with people, and because when I started getting to my 30s and whatnot, and it started getting to 40s and whatnot, these questions, the conversation would come up, and they would say, well, people would say to me, well, what you gonna do if you don't never get married? But see, I think I'm a at least halfway intelligent man, and I say, you know what? I think what I'm gonna end up having to do if I never get married and never have kids, I'm gonna have to find a way to spend all this money on myself. I think that's my punishment. I got to buy whatever I want to buy when I want to buy, and I'm gonna have to do stuff that I want to do whatever I want to do. I think that's my punishment.
What type of American, Raj? It is your job, sir. That's what Steve Harvey told us. It is your job to take care of some kids and a wife. And Dr. Richard Reeve told us it's manly to overproduce for, well, he didn't say the extra part, but we already know what he meant, for women and children, right? So you're not overproducing, Raj? Or you overproducing for yourself? What type of American? And you a black man? Oh,
bro,
off with his head.
I'm fighting the battle not to be too stingy, because the older I get, the more I think stuff supposed to be mine and just for me. I'm gonna go and say it out there. If it ain't a luxury car, I don't want it. Now I ain't doing that to stunt. I ain't saying I buy cars all the time, but I'm single. I ain't got no kids.
So you ain't stunting on purpose.
Man. I need a luxury,
You ain't stunting on purpose. You just stunting.
No, I ain't no rich man. I ain't no rich man.
It's incidental.
Yeah, I know some ballers. I say that. I know some ballers. You know what I'm saying? I know some ballers. I ain't the baller. I know some ballers. But when you don't have to pay for these other little things, it's like, well, you know what? You technically you could afford to do this because you ain't got to worry about this. Ain't no kid finna come up with a $400 bill tomorrow that I have to be prepared for. It's like little things I can do and little things I can get away with. That's all. Just little things I can get away with. And one of those little things is buying luxury cars. Okay, it's just one of those little things. Don't get me wrong. I didn't been into Pontiacs and all that type of stuff too. I done had an assortment of other regular cars. So just one time I bought a luxury car, and then I don't see myself going back. That's all. I don't see myself going back. So it is what it is. I ain't had no two-tone peanut butter complexion vehicle. You know what I'm saying? Like old girl was. You know what I'm saying? I swear she was in a 745i, but I ain't got it like that. But you know what I'm saying? But I just try to make it. I do all right. That's all I'm saying. I do all right. I try to make it. But we got
Raj, real quick before Black Guru
came up. Yeah.
And another thing, what we have to suffer. Well, Mr. Z's not single anymore. Actually, I'm engaged. We have to suffer, Raj, when we're single, an actual savings account. Oh, the horror of watching the numbers stack up. Oh, the horror of knowing you have emergency money. Oh, it is the worst feeling in the world to know that you got it if you have an emergency or someone you care about has an emergency. You don't want to give them money, but you can if you need to. Oh, the horror of watching that savings account. Oh, it's the worst.
Bro, you ain't lying. You ain't lying. You ain't lying. That's real talk. You is not lying. I remember situation.
I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, Raj. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Oh.
Situation come up, your loved one needs $500 and you can mess around and give it to him without thinking about it. That's terrible. That's terrible. But I don't want to hold Black Uru up, so let him get in here. Black Uru, you got the mic, my brother. How you doing?
Hey, Roger, how you doing? I hope you and gentlemen, folks in the public chat is doing well. Don't let me mess up the flow of conversation. I just came up here because I heard there was a special on some dude whites. You know, I've reached, I've reached that stage in my life where dude whites are very important. So if there was some extra gross quantity of whites, put me down for a few thousand. No,
Well,
I'm mostly just enjoying the conversation.
but
It's
but that
funny,
is a
but
good
you guys
question to
are
ask you
talking
though,
about.
Black Guru. As
Sure, go
for
ahead.
your, and I'm sorry for cutting you off. In all honesty, for your age cohort, how do you, for if you speaking of other men of your same age group, how are they processing seeing so many single men, single black men in specific, some of which are successful, some of which are not, but just enjoying their singleness, not just in their early 20s, but well into their 40s, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of a. I don't want to say a mixed bag. Where it turns on two things. Obviously, health and whatever sort of stable economic situation you're in. I mean, admittedly, unfortunately, when you're black, you're a black man, and you get to a certain age, you've seen the spectrum of the situations that many of us are in. Some of us are, struggling with health issues, maybe chronic health issues. Some of us, combination of education, maybe training or whatever, are in somewhat troubled economic positions. Uh, but for those of us who are in fairly good health and have done well economically, and maybe we've been out of in and out of a marriage or whatever, man, it's pretty sweet from what I see. I live in an area. There are a few widowers or a few divorced men, and man, they come and go at their leisure, at their pleasure. I got a neighbor a few houses down, brother. He good divorce. And, he's about a little older than me. I think. Well, maybe we're around the same age. I don't know, mid-60s or whatever. And you see a lot of little hoes coming in and out of his house. You see a lot of little 20-somethings coming in out of there, man. We kind of, I don't know him that well, most time in the summer we kind of hollering at each other, doing, lawn work and that kind of stuff. But yeah, you see him coming in and out. Now, a couple of summers back, he ran into it with the wrong one, and she was kind of giving him trouble. And but the good thing about being an old man with a little bit of something is, you can have a few conversations with the local, village PD, and they help to sort that shit out for brother. so that's the thing too. You get a little status, you get a little position, and if, like I say, if you are kind of on your own, doing your own thing, and you make the right associations with the right people, you can live very comfortably. The biggest issue, and I would say this for you younger men as well, the biggest issue, I think you will agree. How do you sort out or reconcile your sexual appetites? That's real, because that's always really your their leverage on you. That's usually it, because sexual appetites then expose you to children, all that other kind of stuff. In some cases, expose you to microbes you don't necessarily want in your life. But once you can reconcile the sexual aspect of being independent as a man on your own, you have all the advantage. And the advantage of being old, the particular advantage of being older man is you're not quite as motivated by sexual demands or that fury inside you, sexual conquest. So it just becomes a fairly, like I said, if your health is decent, if you're taking care of things economically, it's kind of an easy life. It's kind of a very easy life, especially now.
But you know what? Shout out to that brother in the neighborhood that was I guess one of the things he had to do was spend extra time with his nieces. You say he had him coming in and out. I guess he had to,
as it's called play nieces.
Right. He had to look out for the play nieces. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Good of him to do so. Good of him to do so. Give him a little guidance here and there. Give him a little guidance here and there.
The other thing too. This brother, he's got a Cadillac. This Cadillac's about 20 years old. I got another brother down the block. He's kind of an old man mechanic, so kind of helps to keep, his caddy on the road. It's just, you got the Escalade. You got the 20-year-old Escalade. I mean, so it's an easy living. It's an easy lift if you set things up a certain kind of way. But unfortunately, because many older black men, we have made mistakes collectively that have been a warning for you all to avoid. And so, unfortunately, for many of them, of my age cohort, maybe a little bit younger, maybe older exes, we're kind of a little more entrapped in some shit, unfortunately.
Well, you know what? All I'm gonna say is we appreciate the ones who come before us that showed us how to dance just a little bit better, because we all doing this dance in America, and fortunately, a lot of us been able to dance a little better because of certain things that you brothers have been through before us. So we appreciate it. We don't like that certain things happen to y'all, but we do appreciate being able to learn for y'all. And I'm gonna say shout out to Ricardo Brown. Okay, shout out to you, brother. He says, y'all, I torture myself daily between Marvel Contest of Champions and Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel Online. The depression is real. You know what, Ricardo Brown? I'm going to pray for you, brother. I'm going to pray for you. I know that's got to be hard to know that you put a certain amount of work in the day. And at some point, you have to go home and you got to deal with what you're going to be able to achieve online. You have to deal with that at some point during the day. You have to.
You're next in line for a miracle, brother. You're next in line for a miracle. That's what the song say.
Yeah, we gonna pray for you, brother. We gonna pray, y'all. Y'all keep Ricardo in your hearts, okay? Y'all keep in your hearts.
Absolutely, 100%.
And we got Jay Moore joining us. We got Jay Moore. So yeah, I'm gonna get into a couple more things in a minute, but Jay Moore is joining us. So Jay Moore, I understand you may have dealt with some situations from time to time where you may not have had a girl. We know you ain't got no kids. And unfortunately, you done had all this extra time on your hands and you done had all this extra money. How have you suffered through dealing? How have you coped with dealing with being alone, brother? How have you coped? Jay Moore, you got it.
I'm here, man. It's a lot of suffering going on here. I'm about to really come to tears right now. It's a lot of pain because, some of the suffering I had to go through was just, I could go back and forth to New York, easily just go in my car, drive for 8 hours, and just go see my family on anywhere I want to. I just played through, all my Master Chief collection with my little brothers and stuff. And honestly, too, it's like one of the things that just happened with I just realized with me and my cousin is married, and I realized he could make like $100,000, and I'm me making like $40,000 to $50,000. I still bring home more money than he. And it's just, you see the pain and misery I have to go through every single day just thinking about that. The tears that I have not cried even one time for his and man, it's awful. It's just an awful experience, man. And you know what? Yeah, like I was on Mrs. Z's channel like a while back, and I was just like, I was saying to my stepfather, like, hey man, I got what's it called? I spent $600 for a PlayStation 4, and I have 10 years worth of happiness out of this. And you spent over $600,000, and you still miserable right now dealing with my mom. And that's sad.
Boy. The things we got to do sometime. The things we got to do, y'all. You know what? Y'all know it was one day I was out here. I ain't really had nothing scheduled to do. And I got hungry. All right. And as a single man, the unfortunate part is I couldn't ask my wife what she wanted to eat. I had to figure it out myself. And I had just left this store.
How did you make it, Raj? How did you make it?
I mean, Fogo the Child was right there. It was right there. I ain't necessarily want to go to Fogo the Child, but it was right there. And I'm hungry. Y'all know what I had to do?
You had to buy yourself something to eat.
Man, I was hungry. I needed someplace it was right there. So I said, let me suffer through this Fogo the Child. I'm already here. I'm hungry. I might as well eat. I didn't have to think about it. Okay? I didn't have to think about it. All right?
How did you make it, Raj?
I didn't have to make no big decision. I didn't have to think about, well, if I spend this money, I can't pay for the kids' class pictures. You know, I ain't had to think about that. My wife said she needed a new mink coat. I didn't have to think about that. You know, it was just, Roger, you got some money, you hungry, in a restaurant right there. Are you gonna drive away from the restaurant to go get something to eat, or you gonna go on in there and eat because you right here and you hungry?
Not
and
the
I said, you know what?
expensive restaurant. Oh boy.
That's what they told me too. That's what they told me. It was my first time going in. They told me it was kind of pricey.
Y'all niggas
But I went in there and I said, you know, I'm just gonna deal with whatever come with it. I'm gonna deal with whatever come with it. But you know what? I had a pretty good time. You know, I made it through all right.
Raj, you are
Roger,
on my heart, brother. You are on my heart. Go ahead, y'all. Jesus.
Roger, you know that, like just a while back, I was going through an addiction, right? It's like a terrible addiction. I was buying myself a pound of shrimps and crab legs and lobsters every day for the whole entire week. I was spending like $40 every single day, just constantly getting that. It was, I was having some lemon pepper or what's called Cajun, and so many different varieties of suffering and torture I had to go through just eating that stuff up. It's awful.
It must have been terrible. I'm gonna say real quick, shout out to Afro Merchant. He said Roger is fancy. First towels, now Fogo the Child. No, brother, I am not. Don't even spread that ugly rumor. I am a young man from the hood that don't come from money, just trying to get by, y'all. What was that line? I'm just like y'all, man. I'm check to check, man. I'm check to check. I can't remember the
Shout
line
out to
right
Three
now.
Stacks.
Yeah, well,
I know what song. I know what. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
I know what I'm talking about, man.
I'm like you. If what he said. I'm like beat to beat, like you like check to check, something like that. Yeah. Shout out to Three Stacks. Shout out to Three Stacks.
Yes. So I know we still
the
neck
South
to
got
neck.
something to say, y'all. The South got something to say.
Yeah, it's something there about being neck to neck. I'm right with y'all, man. I'm right with y'all. But let me go and turn it over to Landlord Sands so we can get away from these ugly rumors about Roger being fancy. Those ugly rumors. Go ahead, landlord.
Raj, if you don't mind, I gotta get a car update real quick to all my car heads. I am literally just welcome to South Florida. I'm looking at an R34 GTR. What is that? V-Spec 2 on the back of a trailer right now, all white. I swear to God. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can take a picture before it goes. Got it. All right. Anyway, my bad, y'all.
All right, you got it, landlord Sims.
If you don't move your feet, then I don't eat, and we like neck to neck. I was gonna let y'all survive until I heard Roger say Fogo de Chao. You do know it's Fogo de Chon.
I don't know what it is. I just knew I was hungry.
It's Fogo de Chon.
Okay.
And it's funny, like y'all like what y'all talking about, because one time I was at the cigar lounge and I'm chilling with the OGs and all that, and we chopped it up. And somebody was like, "Yo, like it was a joke." It was a joke, but I think it's really real because he was like, "Yeah, gay guys they get the most money, and they're like out of like the regular men, like the gay guys are the ones who got bread." And I was like, "Nigga, what the hell you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, because they don't deal with women." And I was like, "Damn."
That's true though. And that like no pro LGBTQ stuff, but no, that's actually accurate. Actually, no, it's actually true.
Yes, those are verifiable facts. Real talk. Those are verifiable facts.
And it's like every time I'm dealing with a female, that's when I'm the most brokest. It don't matter. Like it just I don't know. Even when I'm just not trying to be broke, it just happens. You know what I mean? And it's very rare to find a female that doesn't run your pockets. You know what I mean? And if you do find one that don't run your pockets, you might want to keep her around. If she don't run your pockets and help you save money and be on top of you about saving money, I think that would be a keeper. But as far as the title, I don't think America would be. I know America would be great if they got off of black men's necks and just let us fly. But you need a mud seal gap. Everybody needs somebody to step on so they could be better. And you want the best thing to step on to make yourself better, I guess, is the black man, because we the highest in the totem pole when it comes to everything else. So if you step on us, you're gonna be real high in the world. And I think that's why they won't let us get what we deserve in the world. But somehow we always make it. Like Kanye said, you wasn't supposed to make it past 25. Joke's on you. We still alive.
Hey, that's real talk right there. That's real talk right there. Shout out to Kanye. Yeah.
Chicago niggas.
You know, one thing that really kind of ticked me off, and I noticed it when I moved out with me and my cousin, and I bought like a 32 roll of tissue paper, and me and him was living in this apartment for like 2 years, and then he bought a house, so I started renting at his house and everything. And his little brother moved in with his girlfriend, and that 32 roll of tissue paper that I had for 2 years at that apartment, I only used up maybe like 7 of it. When she came in, that shit was gone within a week. And I'm not a week, basically like 2 weeks or something. I'm just like, yo, where did my tissue paper go? This thing was like part of the family. It was in my house for like 2 years, and it wasn't even used up. She come in here and it was all gone. Like, she didn't even take my actual money. She took my booty money. That's some bull crap. I don't even know how to put it, like how to make it sound better. But goddamn, you took my wipes, man.
She must have a fat ass on her, huh?
No, she had 2 places to wipe. That's when it really clicked. I'm like, oh, girls got 2 places to wipe. I'm like, you mother. Like, I had to buy a 60 pack roll of tissue paper, and I calculated that thing. The thing was gone within like a month and a half.
That's
Jay, it's not just that they have 2 things to wipe. It's how they pull the toilet paper. You pull for efficiency. Have you ever seen women pull? I've seen women pull toilet paper, right?
They make
Mr.
a
Z
out of it.
Yeah, but no, see, exactly. You stole it right off my mouth.
You got a girlfriend. You got a girlfriend. Yeah. How am I supposed to notice this stuff? I don't need to know. I was a happy single man, and then my cousin's girlfriend comes in and start using my stuff. You know how mad I am? That was even my girl.
That's why I don't mess with chicks with big old butts, because they fuck your toilet tissue butt.
That's hysterical.
Man, I swear for God, the difference in toilet paper between them living with you and not living with you, I swear they eating it.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nowhere in the world they using that much toilet paper. They got to be eating it.
No, Raj, for real. No, Raj, it's because the way they use it. You pull for efficiency. They pull for convenience. So they just keep pulling and pulling. But because I get it, nobody want no streaks. I get it. Cringe. I know. So they pull and pull and pull, and like the brother was saying, they pretty much turn it into a mitt on their hands. So that's the difference. And
I
I think
know.
I think it's actually perfectly emblematic of the different way men see resources and the way women see resources. That's actually, somebody could do a science experiment on women and toilet paper and men and toilet paper.
Now,
I think
you
that's an
just gotta
allegory
go
right
Asian.
there.
Listen, see, I almost got so mad. I
Here's
was
gotta
the
go
other.
Asian.
Here's the other thing with the toilet paper. More times than not, this, I mean, you guys complain and try being in the house with, daughter and a wife. Because not only do what's happening is you as the man are typically dealing with the garbage, and you as a man are typically dealing with any sort of plumbing issues that go down with her dumping all that fucking toilet paper.
Man.
Damn.
So they are oblivious to issues that you have to deal with from a sanitation standpoint and from a plumbing standpoint. And I used to always, particularly my youngest daughter, I would quarrel with her about that all the time. About her she would roll like every time she'd go in the washroom, she'd use half a roll of toilet paper, and it was destroying our damn toilet. So yeah, they don't, a lot of those kinds of things, they don't, in terms of them being spendthrifts and the toilet paper. It is interesting how when the COVID thing went down, that the whole toilet paper thing became this monster. It was like of all things to be concerned about, people were fist fighting in the aisles at Kroger's or whatever over toilet paper, and yeah, that is definitely a weird sort of thing. But it's
I'm gonna
because they
say
don't have
God
to
bless.
deal with what comes from it as acutely as men do, at least when they're living with it.
Well, I want to say God bless you, brother, because I ain't never lived with more than one woman that I was paying for. I got sisters, so I didn't live with more than but paying for one. God bless your heart, brother, and shout out to all the men who can afford women's toilet paper. Real talk, because they say back in the day, let me say real quick.
My wife.
They say. Well, go ahead.
I live with my wife, 2 daughters, my mother, my wife's mother, my wife's maternal grandmother, my maternal grandmother, and a female cat.
All in one house?
Yep.
Yeah, he was Black Ulu. He was going through 3 rolls a day.
All at the same time. So you can imagine the toilet paper expenditure.
It almost sounded like smoking. Black Ulu was going to 3 rolls a day.
You know.
And
Right now,
he had the double dispenser.
Right now, it's being recommended from the Trump administration that they give like a special award to women who have more than 6 children or more. I think it is. They're proposing it. I think we need to give brothers like Black Uru a gold medal or an award for like taking on daughters, wife, both mothers of him and his wife, and a grandmother and a cat. Oh boy!
He said 3 generations.
Here's the weirdest part about that. I learned a lot about women and female hierarchy during that period. It actually was a much more peaceful time than you would have assumed it would be. The only wild card in the bunch was my mother-in-law, but she was God, she was kind of a special case in her own right. But otherwise, the women kind of policed each other, and that, very often when we're talking about the issues of Black women, That's what's largely missing. That's what has been lost because a lot of what used to exist was a kind of ecosystem amongst Black women of where elder women in particular held sway, and it was very interesting because my wife's grandmother, very strong woman, in some ways domineering woman, and at times she was never spirited, but sometimes her domineering spirit would kind of get the better of her. And it was interesting seeing her because I had known her, for a 10-year period or whatever, I guess, or so before we were living together. And it was interesting seeing her defer to my grandmother. And it was because my grandmother was older than her. So it was, that's how you had and kept order in families, that respect for the elder position, especially amongst Black women, that respect for the elder position. That's what's been lost. That's why so much is out of order, especially amongst women. The loss of that female hierarchy, that elder female hierarchy. And like I said, I wasn't quite as aware of how important and as potent as that was until they were all in the house with me together.
So,
But
and then
if y'all don't
my
mind,
bad.
just
Go ahead.
because I'm going somewhere with that, and thank you Zulu for that. So I had Raj pull this up because what Black Guru was speaking to about the governance, the women governing each other. But what happens when you're dealing in a different situation and now you have about 2 generations, maybe 3, debatable on the family, of this idea of freedom, being liberated, and autonomy, particularly from men and men's authority, right? And so the definition of autonomy, the quality or state of being independent, free, and self-directing, right? So I would argue Black Rue had a different situation going on. I don't know how many of us, maybe 50 and younger, 45 and younger, if we were in the home with 3 generations of women, would have that type of peace, because now you're dealing with at least 2 of those generations who have this idea of autonomy and no one could tell me what to do, including my female elders, but more particularly any man of any age cohort, right? So that idea of
So
autonomy is very toxic for families. Go ahead.
You mentioned the relationship. My grandmother was a widow. My wife's grandmother was a widow. My my mother-in-law was a widow. My mother was the only one among the elder women who were divorced. So the order of family and the order of position, like they would do things or say or direct my daughters and my wife to do things for me. They would direct them to do things for me or ask, like, make sure you get the dinner. It wasn't anything I had to do or say. It was what they were trained to do as women and as wives. See, that's the part of this thing that's missing. When you guys talk about male leadership, what you don't realize is a lot of this wasn't supposed to be stuff that we were supposed to be dictating to them. This is stuff that they were supposed to be trained to do and to do within the context of a family under a man. But the man wasn't supposed to have to be telling them to do that shit. That's the problem now.
All right. Now we got Turnaround who done came up. So I'm going to go ahead and give Turnaround the mic. You got it, my brother.
Well, just like what Black Guru was saying, when I go to Colombia, I got everybody, all her sisters, her mother, her aunts, her nieces. They're all trying to serve me. They're all trying to make sure I'm happy. because I make their relative happy. So they're all trying to make sure that the men are set up for success and that the men are happy and enjoying their time spending with the family. So those things are been trained and passed on from the oldest to the youngest, and that would keeps that would keeps a man at home and keeps him happy. So yeah, Black Guru is actually saying what used to happen here and needs to be happening again. But yeah, that's why. And also overseas, they don't have the same plumbing overseas, so they can't be doing that much paper wrapping because they clog up the system. So they have to be prepared.
It gotta be a little more prudent.
Exactly.
Well, you know what? Shout out to you, brother, because I know one thing that you were doing a little bit more because you were single. Traveling. That opens up to a lot of men because they're single. So you can afford to go places. You don't have to check in with somebody else about their agenda. There's places I wanted to go, and I just went. And it was all good at the end of the day because nobody had a problem with it. It's a beautiful, beautiful life experience. And y'all, I do want women, to really understand this. In America should get a little piece of this too now. The ways we are suffering are not what you think it is, okay? I want to see a movie, y'all. I can just go see it. It's some movies I only want to see one time. And I don't have to do what I used to have to do with women, y'all. Y'all know what I used to do with women? I want to see a movie, right? I got to go to the movie and watch the movie myself. Then I got to go back to the movie because I got to take her to see the movie. And I know somebody going to say, well, Roger, why would you go on your own if you take her to go see it? Because I got to see it the first time by myself, so I ain't got to answer 3,000 questions when she watched the movie with me, okay? I can't keep up with the film because she asked me a bunch of questions. So I would go see a movie, then I bring her to see the movie. So now, if the movie ain't even that great, I don't even want to go 2 times. It's a lot easier just to go see it once. Life seems to open up a little bit. Again, y'all, I'm not the type of guy to tell y'all marriage ain't good. I think the only problem with marriage is just the people that are in the marriage. That's it. Nothing else. But if people knew how to operate with each other, knew how to treat each other, everything gets a lot better, a whole lot quicker. Now, I gotta say, Red Pill Sleeper Cell is back. What's going on, my brother? What's going on? Looking good, brother. Looking good.
Oh, I'm getting ready for work. I got to suffer with all these pachyderms coming in with their food stamps. So,
Now, you know what? I'm gonna say this. As a black man suffering through dealing without a woman, I've said this before. Y'all know I made a decision a while back that I just don't go to the grocery store like on like the 1st through the 3rd. I just don't go no more. I can do that because I ain't got to rush to get food. Ain't nobody telling me I got to get this particular thing right now. There is no getting up right now because I need this item to make the sauce, so you got to go get the stuff so I can make the sauce. I forgot it early, and I ain't got to run out to the stove just to eat dinner. It's already here.
Okay, but
I got a question for Uru.
Hold on, Rob. Hold on before you go any further, because this brother used the term pachyderm.
Pachyderm.
I got to get a little pedantic here for a moment. Because for the uninitiated, the term pachyderm refers to the class of mammals that include elephants, hippopotamuses, rhinoceroses. So that just for you all to really visualize what this guy is referring to when
Hey, Uru,
to the term
send me,
pachyderm.
hey, Uru, send me your email and I will send you plenty of pictures and you'll get a clear understanding.
Okay.
And all I'm gonna say is, I felt what he was going to, and it's easier for me to avoid those women if I don't go shopping from the 1st to the 3rd. which I really don't do yet. Now I literally try to wait till the
That's
6th of
good.
the month before I go to a grocery store. Real talk. I've been doing this for years now, so I know what he's saying. I done been in there with him, been in there a couple times. And I decided as a man, I ain't got to put up with this. So yeah, at the beginning of the month, y'all got it, cause I'm not there, and that's real talk, y'all. At the beginning of the month, I ain't there. Y'all got
Hey, Uru, I got one question for you. When you had all those
Yeah.
women in your house, how was the female cat towards you?
The cat. The cat was actually the biggest problem I had in the house because the
it.
cat was crazy.
Damn.
It was a female cat, and it was a female cat, and it was a Gemini that my daughter named Gemini, and the cat was fucking crazy. That was the worst part of the whole. That was the worst part of the whole time.
Hell, hell, well, you could get a dog or nothing in there.
I,
Man,
but like I say, it was a beautiful time. It really was a beautiful time. I learned a lot about the nature of women and the environment of women during that time. Before then, I had a lot of assumptions about how women thought and worked and stuff like that. But during that period, and it only lasted about I guess about 9 months or so, better close to a year. Um, and my grandmother died not long after that, so it's sort of a bittersweet sort of memory for me. But and she died after her and my mother left, which is also kind of a haunting thing for me as well, and became kind of a family issue because we did not want my mother and my grandmother to leave. My mother unfortunately insisted on leaving, but or going back to her house. But there had been a fire at her house, and so they had to temporarily live with us. That's why they were with us, and the repairs had been done. We tried to get them to stay. I actually wish they would have stayed. I think it would have been better for both of them had they stayed, but my mother was stubbornly independent black woman, silent generation shit, and well, there you are. But it was a wonderful time. It was a wonderful time, and unfortunately, you younger men, you guys won't have that experience because well, I mean, you now, I mean, you're not going to have many chances to live with, your greatest generation and your silent generation people. They're mostly all gone now, and it's some lessons there. Some parts about our history that sadly will be forever lost to most of you, particularly you younger guys. Unfortunately.
that's true. But at least we'll have toilet paper.
God. Oh my God, bro. The pettiness, bro. What the next level of pettiness, bro. Serious.
Well, I'm saying, I mean, when I don't live with women, and trust me, I will never do that again if I don't get married. It's just not happening with me. I don't care what your story is. I don't want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? It's always toilet paper, man. It's never a problem. It's never a problem, and y'all did mention earlier when COVID came up, I was one like in the beginning, I was wondering why COVID meant fights over toilet paper at grocery stores. Like it didn't even make sense to me. I had to think about that a good little while before it kind of clicked in my head why toilet paper was such an issue. It didn't make no sense, right? Probably the first 2-3 days I was hearing about it, it just didn't click in my head about how women use toilet paper. And I get it. The toilet paper may not come, so everybody got to get all the rolls. They got to get all the rolls. So I get it,
Hey,
But
Roger,
go
let
ahead,
me
go
tell
ahead.
you a story. When COVID happened, we had to work because we were considered essential workers. At that point during COVID, My sister used to come all the way from the Bronx to Jersey because all 5 boroughs of New York City did not have bleach or toilet paper or Lysol.
That's rough. That's rough. Yeah, that's something you can't really get away from. Now, I would say as a man, well, I mean, I really wasn't that bothered during COVID. I'm just saying, I just really didn't. I wasn't really bothered during COVID. It didn't. I earned a little more money during COVID. It didn't have any real negative effects on me personally. You know what I'm saying? Now, I did have an uncle that passed away because he ended up getting COVID, but he had other issues going on with him. And I started to pick up on the fact that if you like an older person, you get COVID, it's really going to be about, do you have other underlying issues going on? If you just got COVID by itself, a lot of people still making it through. So I unfortunately I did lose an uncle during COVID, but that was the only real thing that really affected. Everything else for me was kind of good. It was kind of great. Traffic was better. I say that less people was going places. Traffic was better. You know, I can get things done that I wanted to do. I wasn't getting sent out on errands because I had a woman. When you got a woman, she gonna send you on some errands. It's always something she forgot to get. It's always something she need, and it's always something she's just thinking about. And then we need to prepare for this because I just thought about this, and I may want to do this next week. So there's little errands to do. I ain't had to deal with none of that stuff, so it was beautiful. And I don't think America knows there's a lot of beauty for a black man to be single. And making decisions about. I mean, for some guys, it's just a decision about what you want to wear because you don't have a woman trying to tell you that your outfit ain't right. There's a lot of women who make a big deal over outfits and they act like guys can't dress. Now, I'm not saying guys can't dress, but there are some women who just simply believe if it's your idea, it's a bad idea, even when it comes to dressing. And you don't have to deal with that stuff when you happen to be single.
Well, you said America doesn't realize how
we suffer.
Oh no, they do with the with the invention of the internet, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. They know.
Well, maybe they starting to figure it out. Maybe
now
they starting to figure it out.
Now they like this. Why them niggas be walking out to get cigarettes and never come back?
Well, that's a good line. I might use it one day. That is a good line. Let me go get a pack of squares. I'll be right back. She gonna look at me like, you don't need smoke. That's beside the point, baby.
That's beside the point.
That's beside the point, baby.
I think you are making a point, landlord, that can't be that should not be understated. Now, with America itself, because so much has been set up to specifically leverage off of black men that it's difficult to accurately gauge to what extent there is any sort of real empathy for black. But you will observe, non-black people, white people, some people, and other non-black people who will observe the unique struggle that black men have, particularly with black women. You will see that, you will hear that, you will witness that. And some of the women, for their own purposes, will leverage that to their benefit in terms of acquiring black men. And some of them are even rather brazen and bold with declaring that, y'all don't treat your man right, so I will. So it's become a interesting sort of competitive sort of thing that you'll see some white women or some Latino women or whatever that you don't treat your man right, so I will.
So basically, the new Thai woman then, because women from Thailand apparently have been brothers and black women been going over there, apparently be getting their ass whooped necessarily for the last They go over there to pick a fight, they lose, they come back. They go over there to pick a fight, they lose, they come back. It's been a revolving door now. I mean, right now they about like 10-0 right now, bro. They score ain't really looking too good now.
Well, that's part of the reason that they tell us not to date out. You know, they're worried about you discovering something that's just better. You know, so that comes with the territory. And even if you're just being a single man, if they don't know what you're doing, there's fear because there are other women, and some of them are starting to do it publicly now. They want to stay claim over black men. And they saying, I'm gonna get me one. I don't know what y'all talking about. I'm getting me one. So that is some level of concern to them at the end of the day. You know, because I will say, black men, we do love black women. You know, we may not like them, but we do love them. But if you're single, as a woman, you have to be concerned with the men starting to like somebody else. Because if they like somebody else, now he'll be so caught up in doing for this other woman, they don't have time to do anything for you. So it is a true threat to black women, you know. And then when you think about how black men are having such a nice time, now I do understand people are trying to paint this picture that black men are just suffering. And from what I can tell, black men are just doing different stuff, and we're trying different things. We're going to new places, and we're kind of having a good time while we out here singing. We kind of having a good time. I know they paint it as we lonely, and there's nothing to do. But y'all, I go to the movies. I see other brothers there. They're single. You know, we see a particular movie, we start talking, having conversations. Some of us go out to eat together and all this type of stuff. Like we just flowing. I go see a Marvel movie. I told you I like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I go see a Marvel movie, you know, and it's younger guys and even older guys. You know, I done started talking to guys who I'm gonna say older than Black Guru. And you know what happened? We started talking about the movie. They started telling me stuff about what they read in the comics and how things gonna go. Next thing I know, we done kicked it for a couple of hours just because we saw a movie. But he got a different perspective on things because he's an older person. They read the comic books growing up. I never read the comic book, so you know there's a lot in there that I ain't know about, and everything's fine. You know what you about to do, man? I'm finna go grab something to eat. Man, you want to go to such? Boom, boom. Now we done ate. It ain't like dudes are doing dates or anything like that. I ain't saying that. I'm just saying brothers with the same interests have literally kicked it together. Okay, because I've been one of them. And I'm meeting other people in the streets. You know, I done seen people make contacts. Next thing you know, somebody done pulled somebody in and got them a job. Somebody done pulled somebody's grandson in and got them a job. And all we did was we watched the movie and had a good time. And we was able to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? And everything just kind of flowed and went good and easy. You know, everything was rolling smooth. You know, now we got people employed that wasn't employed. To me, it's been some great results at the end of the day. You know?
Well, that's why they try to use the homosexual trope to keep you from doing things like that, because they want to interrupt what you're doing when it's not centered on them and centered on your ideal of keeping them in a happy state. When you're doing stuff for yourself or other brothers, it bothers them, man.
Yo, it was a video. The chick that I guess the mother was taking a video of her son. The nigga came around. He's like, "Yeah, mom, I think I want to just stay a virgin. I don't really want to deal with all that stress and da 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 da." And I was like, "That little nigga is on to something, boy." If man, listen, boy. I said that's a genius.
Yeah, he young and smart. That's a young smart brother there. I seen what y'all going through. I'm good on that. You know, but there is this picture that's being painted like we ain't having a good time. Like, and I'm proud of black men for having a good time anyway. You know, I see the things that's going on. I see brothers having a good time anyway. I even see brothers doing stuff I may not necessarily go to do it. You know, but I've seen brothers, they start actually taking art classes. Now I was like, I ain't even take no art class, but if that's what a brother enjoys doing, that's what a brother enjoys doing, you know? Yeah. And they actually becoming good at it. You know, might turn into a money-making thing at some point, you know? So I think a lot of a lot of, and I think you made a good point. Great Black Resets. Some of that stuff about y'all must be gay is to stop you from advancing your horizons or looking at new and different things or having new and different experiences because they want to keep us controlled to a certain degree.
Well, it's born of jealousy. Women in general, they don't get along very well when they first meet. You know, they envy one
True.
another and all this other kind of stuff. Fellas, 2 beers in a football game and we best friends. Easy. Just meeting. And they kind of envy that kind of thing. So to combat it, oh, y'all must be gay. Why you want to spend time with the fellas all the time? Well, the fellas help me make money. Fellas help me make decisions. All kinds of things are happening. Like now we got IT groups and all kinds of stuff, man. We're doing some real things out here.
Yeah, don't worry. They ass is gonna be in the IT groups and all them real things you're doing too soon. Cause they infiltrating the cigar lounge. I'm like, God damn, son. What
So
the
you
hell?
can't keep them out of there now.
Yeah, like since when y'all niggas like cigars?
Shorty, you don't even smoke.
Oh yeah, you just sitting here listening to our conversations. Remember how they took the barbershop over?
Well,
Remember the barbershop
in
was
the
popping?
past, men were jealous. Men would blunt their entry into these areas. They would blunt their entry into the cigar lounge. They would blunt their entry into, would be like, okay, yeah, drop your son off here at the barbershop and get your ass on up out of here. He'll be okay. Somebody will call you or whatever when we're done, or come back in an hour and get your son. Because like I remember my mother, after my parents broke up, I remember my mother would drop me off at a barber, and she would never wait there, like not ever. The barber knew my father, because my father had initially taken me to the barber, right? And so then when my mother, so he knew me, my father, so my mother would just take me there and leave me. And then she would go shopping somewhere or whatever. And then she would come back and get me in an hour or so. The women did not hang out at the barber shop. That was like a major no-no. That was a major offense. The women did not hang out at the smoking lounge. The women did not hang out at the lodge. It used to be just the boys' club. They added that boys and girls club shit. I remember when it was just the boys' club.
Damn,
And it
I
was
didn't
just
even know
men
that.
and boys in the boys' club.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that.
they added that shit later. That was some feminist shit they added later. It used to be just the boys' club. They added that later. It used to be just the YMCA. Now they had a YWCA for the girls, but it was separate. There weren't no girls in the YMCA. They had a YWCA. Wasn't no girls in the Boy Scouts. They had a fucking Girl Scouts.
Well, you know what? I think, and I'm about to throw it to Inspired Truth broadcast. I think something that I know I experienced. When I was playing the video games online, and I'm playing with, like I said, it started off with fellas I knew for real, and then the team kind of expanded, and then there's a bunch of us, and it's it might have been maybe 30 to 40 guys, maybe 35 30 to 35 guys at a certain point that our team was. So you start meeting these young men online. We accidentally started mentoring people. It wasn't even like no plan. You playing the game with some youngsters. Youngsters start asking questions. You cool with them. You play on the same team. You start answering questions. You don't even think about it. And now that I'm, hindsight, this is the type of questions that they would probably be asking their father. So these are probably kids that don't have access to their dad. But you got some guys, and some of us during that time, we were, like I said, some of us was already in our 30s and whatnot. You got young kids, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I remember playing with somebody at least as young as 12.
You know
That
what was
12-year-old.
one of the greatest? You know what was one of the greatest mentoring areas and it's sad that it no longer really exists. Like informally, one of the greatest mentoring areas in Black American and Black community, the pool hall. The pool hall was one of the greatest mentoring areas you had in any Black community. The pool hall.
They
You would have
infiltrated that
brothers
too.
of all. You had brothers who had been, when I was real young, you had brothers that might have been in the Korean War or the Vietnam War. You had brothers who were blue collar workers. You had brothers who were street dudes. You might have had a brother who was a pimp that strolled up in there. The pool hall was, people talk about the barbershop. Really, the pool hall was the real joint in Black communities back in the day. That was,
Yeah.
you had all kinds of savory and unsavory characters that came in that pool hall, man.
It was
You
like the
had
watering.
all
It was like the watering hole. You got the lions, the tigers, the rhinoceroses, all the
you
different.
had
Everybody was
all
there.
manner of man. You had all manner of Black men who would come in that pool hall. Blue collar, white collar, black collar. Oh, you had all kinds of brothers who would come up in that pool hall.
Yeah, damn man, we got to get it
You
back,
might have
fellas.
had
I
a
don't know
brother
what
who
we.
came up in that pool hall, and the popo was after him, and they was like, "Hey man, just kind of hang out in the back." You had that kind. You had that kind of. You had that kind of thing at the pool hall. You know.
Man, I missed that. I mean, I wish I was alive to see that though. Really.
Man, he's
Yeah,
right.
that.
I
that
was born at the end of that,
yeah.
and it
Me
was
too.
a place to go.
Yeah.
My cousins used to take me to the pool hall, be like, "We gonna see if you know how to fight today." I'd be like, "What?"
all manner of deal was done in that pool hall, legal and illegal. Was done in that pool hall. All
Man,
manner of dealings were being conducted in that pool hall.
women
I
have
missed that.
colonized everything, brothers.
I like the way you say that, Shark. Yeah.
I guess the pool hall became the barbershop, which became this over here that we got right now.
And they didn't came in here. They didn't get.
Yeah.
God damn it! I be telling
Well,
niggas like, leave them alone, man. Like
Ground, bro.
they be talking all of this old man stuff, and I be like, you know what? I told my homie, I said, yo, I want to see one of them chicks make a video with their man sitting next to them and see his facial expression when she's saying all of this. Like he gonna have the biggest face, like when the nigga like you a goddamn lie type of face. I don't know if you ever seen no joint the videos
Well,
when the
what
girls
what
would be like,
what
yeah,
they
I'll
have
be
done
working
is
out, and the little kids would be next to them like, no, you don't. That's how they husbands is gonna be like, where this coming from? Like, since when you cooking mid? Like, cause I know for
they
a fact they lying.
what they've done is they have made it. They have given themselves the leverage to control Black men being able to love each other. In fact, they've made it difficult for you to even think of and say Black men loving each other without it meaning something else. That's not that's not how it's always been between us. That's not how it always has been between. My best friend over 50 years. Shit, it'll be, well, we ain't quite at 60 years, but over 50 years. The first thing we see at each other is we hug each other and we say we love each other. Every time we see each other.
Oh,
Yeah, I make it
dang.
a
My
point to
wife
tell my
did
I
homeboy
can't
not
even
I love him.
imagine
initially,
that now.
hey, my wife did not initially like that shit. She was disturbed by that. She was bothered by that.
No, they are. They
Nah,
are.
I mean,
You
some of
know?
them do take it as a threat, and I'm gonna say if she knows she
Yeah.
ain't no good, it's a very considerable threat. Because I remember talking to one of my friends, his eventual wife. She was talking crazy, and I'm be like, man, I'm gonna be here after y'all divorced anyway. She ain't like that.
Well,
But I was just told her
but
because it's the
if
truth.
the woman loves you, though, she will value and appreciate that relationship because now she loves my best friend like she does a brother. She'll talk with him. I don't have to be involved in that conversation. And
That's
she hooked him up with a couple of her friends. Didn't quite go necessarily went the way he wanted it to go. Didn't go the way they wanted it to go. But so if the woman loves you, she will value that and appreciate that relationship you have with your friend if she truly loves you. But if she don't, then yes, that will be a threat to her.
Yeah, that inspired truth. You got to get in there for a real opening statement, brother. Go ahead.
All right, all right. So good Friday to all you brothers on the panel, and salute to everybody in the chat. Hope y'all having a good Friday, getting this kicked off into this cold weekend. So I guess pretty much for my side of things, yeah. I mean, it's just so hard, having to deal with like all these concerts, and floor seating and not having to pay for it twice, like paying for two expensive tickets to go see like Chris Brown and NBA YoungBoy and seeing like Lil Wayne and all of that. It's just it's so tough. And then all of those festivals, the gumbo festival and eating all that gumbo and all the po' boy festival and all those po' boys, they expand your stomach and all that. It gets to be kind of like taxing on the digestive system doing all that. And then the reggae festivals, having to eat that jerk chicken with the rice and peas, shout out to Tunnel Runner, but we do our thing out here. But
Wait a minute.
yeah, all of that kind of adds up. So then you have to go and then hit the gym extra hard and get off that weight, and having all that free time to do that exercise and live life. Yeah, it's just rough, man.
Now,
Yeah.
inspired
It,
truth. I subscribe to your channel. So you mean to tell me every time I seen you with all these different little events, you in there only paying for one ticket? Is that what you mean to tell me, brother? You out here
Yeah,
saving
just
money?
one ticket. That's the pride
Well,
that you lose for not doing it twice over.
yeah.
wait a minute, wait a minute.
You know
Hey,
the wild
did you
part about it?
suffer?
When I never realized how much women
Yeah.
eat. Like
Oh yeah, yeah.
my nigga, they eat like it would be a chick 115 pounds, and boy, I'm looking at her like we at
She,
the Knicks game. She didn't had like 3-4 glizzies,
she trying to eat
Oh,
115 pounds.
2 beers. I'm sitting there like, how do you do it?
two.
Two.
You know what I figured out, y'all? They're
Now,
always hungry.
how do you think we have 60% of black women are in the fat to obese range? How do you think that
Okay,
happened?
oh, you didn't did math class on me. You absolutely right. Oh, Ruth, my bad.
It just took you to school. It just took you to school.
Took
And,
me to
and-
I
school.
mean,
Third period.
those things are connected. Those things are connected. That's
Hey,
why black women are the fattest um, people, like demographic group of people in this country.
hey, Uru, they're pachyderms. Pachyderms.
Yes,
now,
there you go.
now, I'm gonna say if you pay a little attention, y'all, when you go out to an event, concert, game, whatever, And y'all know how they bring the price up. Even the movies. You go to anything where they just jack the price up on food, black women get hungrier. It's something about the food being more expensive, or a hot dog that you get for $2 and when you out in the street, but it's $8 because you at this particular venue. They get hungry at that particular time. It's just like something about them and the prices just makes them hungry. And that's just how the game go.
That's why I said you find that one that'll say, you know what, we can make a hamburger at home for cheaper. You keep her.
Hey, Roger, there was a bunch of guys that found out going to the Philippines. Well, not the Philippines, it was Thailand, and enjoying themselves, having a good time. All of a sudden, we got a bunch of women, single women, coming to Thailand. Like, what? And they looking for American black men. It's like we were having women away from you. Why are you coming after us? But they keep following us wherever we go. They're in the Philippines. They're in Colombia. They're in Argentina. They just keep following wherever the brothers go.
I'm just gonna say, no disrespect to Thailand, but Thailand's a weird place to find an American black man.
Well, he do stick out like a sore thumb, so it's easy to find a nigga. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, it's a weird place to go to find an American black man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a weird place to go. Because I ain't saying nothing about Thailand. And it's just weirder when you're from America and you're looking for an American black man. Why would you go to Thailand to do that? It's something to that. It's just something to that. And I get it though, because black men are fun. I hadn't really paid attention to how fun black men are, but when I think about the time you spend with the fellas, we do actually have a great time. That's generally how it's gonna go. I don't remember hanging with the fellas too many times, and it was like a problem when we left.
BGS did a sort of an esoteric video, I guess it was about 6 years ago, where he basically explained, men, we're the light. We're the light, we're the heat, we're the energy. We're the change. We're the creation, we're the destruction, and then the recreation. Everything comes from us. All the change, all the real substantive evolution of reality comes from us. And Black American men in particular are uniquely endowed in that regard. In part because of how we were bred, because of our experience, because of our challenges in the world. We have to be, we're made and bred to be especially creative people, especially evolutionary people. So even in spite of themselves, they're going to be drawn to us because it's all, anything that's worth anything is going to happen with us. It's going to come from us. Anything that's working. And they know that too, in spite of themselves.
No, you're right.
Yeah, the real source of black girl magic is us. It's black men.
It has always been us. That's the problem.
Yep, that's true. And when they go over to Thailand, they say they go over there because it's safe. It's one of the safest places you could be. But as they get over there and they're so safe and they have all their opportunities, they find out that we are the power. We are the source. We are the energy. We are the ones that they want.
We are the world.
It can't be safe for them because they done lost every fight they had since they've been over here. They got a 0-10 record right now, bro. So it ain't a safe place for them.
Well, they think so. They think so. Delusion.
I'm gonna say shout out.
Go ahead. They would be much safer with the man.
Well, I'm gonna say shout out to Passport OG. I watched another one of his videos because I'm subscribed to him too. Something he did a video with something I probably wouldn't really think about like that because it's just not a big deal to me. Because I'm born and raised in Chicago, y'all. I'm born and raised in Chicago. He did a video, and the video was kind of highlighting these things, these little winter storms or whatever that's been kind of hitting the nation and whatnot, and folks been getting some unusual cold. Some places been getting some unusual amounts of snow. I'm gonna say shout out to the men, because a lot of single men, we didn't have no issue. It snowed and we were all fine. We had no second thought about it snowing. Some of us had to dig out. It wasn't no big deal. The dudes dug out, everything was fine. Everything cool. If you live in a bigger city like mine, yeah, we got people with good jobs. They pay them well to come around and do all this different snow removal. But sometimes your car get caught up where they got to remove snow, and then your car get buried in. Shout out to the men. The men got out and got where they needed to be. Real talk, y'all. We went, and when you don't have a wife, you don't live with your girlfriend, you don't have to dig out no second car. It was one car only, and everything was smooth. Now I probably wouldn't even thought about that if I wouldn't have saw that video, because I'm from Chicago. I don't dig people out like that. I dig myself out if necessary. I dig out maybe somebody I know, but I don't have no girlfriend I'm finna go to her house and dig out. Shout out to my non-girlfriend, okay? Because I ain't coming to dig out. That's a beautiful thing.
Nah, that's a violation. Only wives get dug out in the snowstorm.
Well, I guess that's up to the men, but I know I ain't had to dig nobody out, and it's been lovely. Okay, I ain't said I won't dig out. I have dug out my when that really, really bad storm that happened in 2011, my homie and his girl, I helped dig his girl out. I helped dig him out. But she was a wife. So, you might have a point, bro.
Hold on.
You might have a point.
I'm gonna have to pause for a second.
Yeah, pause on that. That was crazy, Roger.
Yeah, bro.
Yo, Uber was a wild boy today. What the fuck going on?
Well, man,
he was like, my wife. I'll be like, hold on, what?
No, I mean, it was bad.
Roger.
It was
Roger,
bad.
when the double OG tell you to gotta put a pause on it, you gotta put a pause on it.
I was hoping he was gonna stop.
You put a flag on the
I was listening to that too. I was like, why he keep saying it like that?
Okay. Well, let's clear it up. We talking about snow. We talking about snow. It was bad. It was bad for about 4 days.
He was laying pipe, bro. He was laying pipe, bro. That's all he was doing, bro.
Uber, I was sitting here trying to be real mature, and you just had to break it. Uber broke the bottle over my head just now.
I'm sorry, man. I can't.
We talk about snow, y'all. We talk about snow. It was real bad for about 4 days. It was real bad for about 4 days.
He said I dug him and his wife out. I said, Roger Wilder. Boy, you gonna get clipped up. You going viral today,
Hey, Roger, just say no Diddy.
No Diddy.
First of all, I would never say no Diddy, because I'm not gonna do that to a black man. So I would never say no Diddy. I say pause if anything, but yeah, I don't be worried about that stuff. But yeah, it was bad for a few days, because it hit real bad on one day. But all the digging out that had to be done around the city, that took a little while to clear up. Okay. So yeah, we talk about the snow, y'all. We talking about the snow. So it is what it is. I feel mercy, you ain't no good, brother. You ain't no good. But anyway, when it was nice to not have to worry about nobody else in this last little flash that just came across, because I heard about how it has affected several states. Some people just got a lot of cold. Some people got some hail. It was pretty bad. Them folks I seen, they got some hail. And then some folks just got a whole lot of snow, and some folks was trapped. And shout out to, Passport OG put part of it in his video. It was some women talking about they okay because they had husbands, and was kind of mocking the women who didn't have one. But I guess stuff like that gonna happen. But
it's happening, because I seen the video. It was some bad little Latinas, and they had to go get like air put in their tire. And she sexy as hell looking, talking about why ain't nobody coming to help us put no air in our tires and shit. She like, the guys just looking at us do our thing. I was like, this is what y'all asked for.
I mean, shout out to all the men who saw women struggling and respected their space, because that's what they asked y'all to do. Shout out to all y'all for respecting their space, giving them room to get through their situation. It's all good, but I'm just saying it is. I ain't gonna say, it feels a little bit better to only have to dig out one car. I'm gonna say that. For all the single men, you know what I'm saying, who only had to get their car out and didn't have to get their wife's car out too. And shout out to the men who got their wife's car, because I'm never gonna act like marriage is bad. But it is cool to not have to worry about getting two cars out. It's a cool little thing, And I know that's not a year-round thing for people, but it is nice to not have to worry about digging somebody else out. You good to go.
We are some very old people to remember when digging out was a thing. Wow, we are very old. Golly. Roger, just say snow removal, man.
Just say
remove
shovel.
Well, I mean,
shovel some snow, bro.
Shoveling people out. That's all, bro.
No, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. There's a group of people out here, and a lot of people bow down to that group of people. They're called gays, okay? LGBT, whatever, however you want to label them. They don't run me. I'm gonna tell y'all that right now. They don't run me. They may run you, but they don't run me. So I'm gonna say what I want, and I'm gonna do how I want, and I ain't finna worry about them. They don't run me, okay?
Roger, you do remember when we used to say we used to dig out women back in the day. You remember
I do remember that. I definitely remember that. So I get the joke. I do get the joke. But I'm also going to say they don't run me, okay? I'm also going to say that, all right? They don't run me.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
yes, sir.
I'm
yes,
doing what I
sir.
want, all right? It is what it is.
Oh man!
Y'all trying to embarrass me on my own platform, and I feel betrayed because I feel betrayed because Black Rule kicked it off. I feel betrayed. He from the shop.
We trying to.
I was like,
we trying to stop a viral clip from being made, man.
He went too far when the double OG had to stop it.
It's all good, man. It's all good. I respect your thought process. I respect it. The game is the game. Sometimes you get caught up in it, so it is what it is.
Clip a hammer hit me like, man, I was digging up my friend wife. I'd be like, damn, they caught him, bro. So they hit me like that Corey Holcomb shit. I'd be like, see, man, you gotta be smarter, bro.
Never like that. Never like that. Real talk. Never like that. But there is something going on that I think a lot of folks are somewhat jealous, especially when Black men are able to flow through society where everybody wants to paint this picture that we're miserable and we don't have these women that's, for some reason, we're supposed to want to be with these women that we don't even like. I'm not saying Black men don't love them. We clearly love Black women, but we obviously don't like them because there are so many of them that we refuse to marry, and nobody wants to say these terms. One of the reasons that pregnancy has gone down in the Black community, most Black men don't want to have a baby with Black women. And that's just it, okay? They want to have a baby with a woman that's worth their time, and they've come to the assessment that the Black woman ain't worth doing it with. Now, does he really want to have a baby with a Black woman in his heart? Yeah, in his heart, he might want to. He might. But he'd be like, you got some condoms? He gonna do that first anyway. But they want to pretend that Black men are suffering. No, we just using condoms out here. That's all it is. People say, well, no, you just ain't getting none. How you know? And y'all, I done been around these women, so I know what they out here doing.
Yeah, okay? I was gonna say that.
And they not just dealing with one type of man. I know guys on the internet, y'all say that stuff, and a lot of guys just kind of bought into it. Well, no, she want to be with the athlete. She want to be with this guy. No, bro, that's not how women operate. They mess with all types of men. Okay? Women like messing with a man's enemy. Okay, whatever their perception is, it don't even have to be a real any. But if they perceive you that way, they'll do it.
Real talk. If you black and you're not getting none, you just don't want none.
Yep, yep. And you got all these people who pushing. Oh, y'all just can't get none. I be like, bro, you ain't talking about black people. Now that does go on. That incel thing does go on in other communities. I will not say it doesn't, because before the internet found out what it was, I heard the term years and years beforehand, watched documentaries on it, and it came out of white culture where white men refuse to have sex with other women.
There's a very small percentage of men cannot get sex. Like this guy, it's very small. Now with the white incel, look, 80% of those dudes could get laid if they just decide to mess around with some black girls. Let's be real. 80% of the white incel population can be cured if they just decide to mess with black girls. Let's be real. So even the incel thing amongst white guys ain't really real.
Well, it's crazy work to me that they have so much distaste about black women that they will sit there and just not have sex because they can't get it with their right white woman.
Because
when
Roger,
black women is more than ready.
They have TikTok, Roger.
Well, for some white guys, having sex with black girls is almost tantamount to bestiality. You got to understand the mentality of Caucasian. For some of them, black women aren't like humans the way of women. And I know they don't want to accept that and acknowledge that. That's an element. That's why only 0.43% of all married white men have black wives. They ain't feeling black women like that.
I get
laying down with a woman that's like lying down with a dog.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that to be mean, and I'm not saying that at all to refer to the humanity of black. I think black women, those women are physically the most splendid female humans on earth. All things being equal. Without all the tainting of fat and sugar and velociraptor fingernails and bat wing eyelashes. When you take out all this fat, when you take out all that bullshit, there is no superior female to the ADOS female, biologically. Period. When you take out all that other shit,
Yeah.
So my point, but that don't mean that. But that ain't got nothing to do with how a white European man looks at a black woman.
Yeah, I agree.
You can't expect them to look at them the way we look at them. Yeah.
Jet magazine went out of business a long time ago, and I think the women went with it.
You remember that beauty? Yo, that beauty of the week page.
No,
I would literally only look at it for that.
Biologically, they're still there. They evolutionarily, biologically, physiologically, still there. Now, what happens after they're born and all of that? Well, let me say this: to some degree, there is some taint that goes into the origin, because even the diets of their mothers are. So, to some degree, there is some taint at a biological level, but I don't think the damage has been done quite as badly that it can't be corrected with organic produce and the women eating, the mothers or the pregnant women eating right and that sort of thing. I think that can be corrected. I don't think that's the issue. I don't think the issue with ADOS women is biological. I think it's all environmental and behavioral.
Yeah.
I think you're 100% right, and I think that you know they just have a concern that men can go out and have fun, and they're not included because they don't know how to get a man back. You know, it might have some. I'm not gonna say it's the same fear, but it's I'm gonna say it's similar to the fear of black women having to deal with a man who's dated a white woman. Because I know a lot of folks ain't paid attention to it, but black women never contest white women for a man. You know, it's just the way it goes. If a black man got a white woman, she just out the picture. She don't ever contest for a black man who has a white woman because she just feels that white woman is just out of her league. And I think us having new and different ways and all these different options of entertainment, and men can enjoy themselves without a whole bunch of pre-processed nonsense going on in our heads. Because when they get together, it's like when one goes to the bathroom, the rest of them talk about it behind her back. When we get together, we might make fun of each other, but we don't even mean it. But we'll do it in each other's face. And everybody laugh about it, we joke about it, and we have a good time. And I think, they don't understand how to replicate that situation with a man. Women don't know how to they don't want to compete on being good company to a man. So if you can have good company with your friends, y'all can go out, watch the game, have a great time, come home, everybody's cool. Nobody mad at the other stuff. We're not doing that stuff that y'all see women do. Women come home, and what they do, they complain about the women they just went out with.
I don't think they have that capacity, Roger, because even when they hanging out, even when you got those couple of homegirls that hang out with the fellas, they still boring as fuck. It's like we like Uru said, we the ones that spark it up. Women date they jokes they are boring, bro. If she ain't sexy, she double boring.
I'm saying that's a real thing, so it may be that probably is leading to a real concern. Because so a lot of time we won't look at it from their perspective, and that's why I'm saying, just like black women never compete with their white woman for a man, how do I, as a woman, compete on a company level with his friends? He get with his friends, he laughing, you know what I'm saying? He's slapping his knee, he barreling over sometimes. Sometimes people hitting the floor. They talking about old jokes from years ago that's still funny to them. How do I compete with that? Because we gotta accept black women look at a lot of stuff from a competition standpoint.
She ain't supposed to be able to compete with that though. She's supposed to be able to be something different for that man. She's supposed to be the wife and the mother and the keeper of his home and the keeper of his familial legacy and to keep together the bonds of his relationship with his birth family and her birth family and the community. That's not her role. Her role is not her role to be his companion and road dog and to have the same views about the 86 Bears that his homies got. That's not her job. That's not her role.
No, I know it's not her role, but what I was saying right before you started was that unfortunately, a lot of black women look at everything from a competition perspective. And she ain't trying to do her role. She trying to do the role she think a man's supposed to do. I mean, that's how black women do a lot of stuff.
Fail. She's supposed to fail. She's supposed to fail in that effort. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same way when black women, when people say, well, what you bringing to the table, and the ones who want to answer that question, because there's a few proud ones that want to answer that question, and what they say, I got a good job, I got a house, I got a car. They say the same things that women want to hear a man say. So unfortunately, they think of this level of competition. I'm not saying it ain't a corrupted way of thinking, because it is. But I'm saying, put myself in their shoes. She sees her man having a good time with his friends, and because she's not trying to be something different, she want to compete against his friends. She want to prove to her man he can have a better time with her
than he'll have with his friends, which is stupid, but that's what they doing. You know? And I don't know how you win that battle. I don't think you can win that battle.
Well, but that's because they've lost their place with amongst each other, and they've lost their place as to what their role is supposed to be with the man. You know, if you think you're going to compete against, that, relationships that are built between and amongst men, especially that over, my wife could not compete against a friendship I've had with my best friend for 50 years. She can't compete with that. There are parts of things and experiences and people and hopes and dreams that man, we were sharing in fifth grade. In fifth
Yeah.
grade.
You know what?
You can't compete in shit that was going down in 1971. You can't compete with that. That's not your job to be concerned about that.
It's funny because now you see women talk about, oh, I want somebody that could be my friend, and I'll be trying to tell them like, me and my friends, we got time, and like I just met you yesterday. There's no way in the world you're going to be my friend. Like, and they don't even it's crazy to me when they use that word.
Look, I will accept you as being my friend, but you're not going to be the friend to me that the guy I've known, when I was in grade school.
Exactly.
You're not going to be that friend.
Well, some of them want to compete with the friend. Because I know me as a person who does talk to him. I've explained to him, stop trying to compete. You can't compete with me and my friends because you know him on a whole different level than his relationship with you is totally different than my relationship with him. And at the end of the day, if you're gonna take it that way, understand I'm the guy that's seen them come and seen them go. You see what I'm saying? You just a chick here right now. I don't know if you're gonna be here next year. You know what I'm saying?
The best way if she cared about you, and of course in most cases they don't, and that's the real issue. But if they cared about you and they really wanted to solidify their relationship with you, they would support, nurture, and champion your relationship with your best friend. That's the surest and best way for her to secure her relationship with you.
Shark just insensitive.
Say that one more again, make sure everybody heard you.
Shark just insensitive. He don't want to be her BFF. I don't know what's wrong with
You know what? I'm gonna save it for the round table.
Well, you know what? I mean, honestly, because even though women shouldn't be trying to compete with men, and a lot of us we don't think about it because when women talk about compete with men, they're usually talking about something from like a job perspective. But no, they compete with men from every perspective, which has a lot to do with why they ain't good enough to win. Because they keep trying to compete with men in a man's realm, and they're not men. So yeah, like as Black people said, they're supposed to lose. And the thing is, they have to be mad at you for being able to have a good time. If they can't kick with their friends the way we kick with our friends, and they got to talk bad about each other behind each other's backs, but we don't have to do that. At some point in time, when you're looking at this stuff the wrong way, there's going to be some level of resentment or jealousy that's going to come in because women are just, let's keep it real, they just more sensitive from an emotional perspective. So she's going to be mad at you because you and your friends are so cool with each other, not because of something y'all did. It's just because she don't have that relationship with her friends. And somehow it's supposed to be our fault as men that they ain't got the same relationship we got with our friends. And like, I don't have nothing to do with your friends. You know what I'm saying? You made friends with the people you wanted to make friends with.
Women have historically been friends with each other has been through the mutual interests of their children and their community. I got kids, you got kids, they're involved with this, they're involved with that. Volleyball, softball, Girl Scouts, the debutante. That's how female friendships and relationships were built and maintained. It was through mutual interest of female activities born in large part from activities involving their children. You weren't supposed to be 45 fucking years old going on girl trips with your girlfriends. That's not what you were supposed to be doing. By then, you were supposed to be just about rounding into being a grandmother at a certain point. And so you were supposed to build your house up and build your children up to a certain level in which they could start then having their family. And your friends were supposed to be doing the same. And over the course of 20 years of doing that kind of thing, yeah, you've become friends because you've invested so much into doing things with your families together and your communities together. That's how female friendships were born and maintained. Not through just some catty ass bullshit activity of who gives the best blowjob and all that kind of bullshit.
My half times changed. And I would say for myself, I kind of seen it a little bit different because my perception of women making friends is you made friends with the women that the men brought around. Because the men would be living a life, you would be a helper to their life. So a
But
group of
Roger, it ain't no different. Those same women, if those men were gonna marry those women, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You're talking about the start of those associations, but the friendships are not built from there. The friendships historically have been built from them building families together, building families in terms of their individual with that man, but then also within a community, within a neighborhood, within a community, within a church. Our girls are in Girl Scouts together, or our kids are in Boy Scouts together. All that that's how those friendships, yeah, they might have been initially introduced by those men, but that's not the real thing that was supposed to hold those friendships together. What was supposed to hold those friendships together was mutual interest of family building. Mutual interest of family building. We're working together. We're working together at the church. We're working together at the Salvation Army. We got the kids involved in this. We're volunteering for that. They're on the soccer team. That's how those friendships were built and maintained over time.
sounds good, sounds good. As a matter of fact, sounds great. And it should be done a lot more at this particular time, y'all. It should be done a whole lot more. But unfortunately, you got women approaching things at the wrong level. And I think as black men, because y'all, we about to hit the 3 hour mark, so I'm finna get ready to wrap this up. I think we need to. What'd you say? You say over?
I've not said anything.
Oh man, you know what? My bad. My bad. Hold on. My bad.
Damn,
My bad,
Roger.
brother. My
You out
bad.
here,
My bad.
Yeah, Roger.
you out here
Yeah.
digging. You out here digging everybody out, and you ain't even give a brother his first.
Out of the snow.
Boy.
Let's emphasize out of the snow.
My bad to my favorite Catonian. Yeah, go ahead and take the mic so we can get off what this nigga talking about. Go ahead and take the mic, okay? Boy, they being niggas today, y'all. They being niggas today. I got so much respect for y'all. Be bragging about y'all and whatnot. Y'all doing me in today. That's all I'm saying. Y'all doing me today. But my bad. Got accuracy 3 times. You got the flow, my brother. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
All right. Happy Friday to everybody.
Happy Friday, brother.
We're going to suffer through a somewhat long weekend. You know what I mean? We don't have no hosts to worry about us or to worry about. So our weekend is gonna be long, man. We're going to suffer. Let me tell you how I suffer my male loneliness. When God of War Ragnarok came out, It was on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I took 2 days off to play God of War Ragnarok. I I spent Thursday, Friday, and subsequent the whole weekend and beat the whole game in one weekend. That's how I suffer my male loneliness. And also occasionally I come on Roger's panel and I have to suffer, and what's his name again? The Great Black Reset, laughing his ass all the time. I have to suffer that guy.
Yeah, I suffer from the Negro too, man.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Me too.
He out here laughing all the time.
What happened? I thought we was all against Roger. How we switched out on me? What's going on?
Man,
He just calling it how you see it. He just calling it how you see it. Leave him alone.
We had a secret meeting and we changed up on you, bro.
I see.
yeah. I I I also I
Yeah, yeah.
also I also suffer a lot when I have to listen to the elders great wisdom. You know what I mean? Yeah, Elder Uru comes on all the time, and I like to listen to him. No, that's suffering, man. Can you imagine that? Man, I need a hole in my life. Never.
You know what? Real talk. Uh, Sometimes it is nice just to be able to listen to what you want to listen to, and just be able to watch what you want to watch. Because Black, I ain't gonna even joke with you, brother. When you described all the women that was in the house, I was like, man, if I did want to play Call of Duty, how can I do it if I live with that many women? Like,
but no, but see now, Roger. Here's what you don't get, and this is what you don't understand. Unfortunately, generationally about uh, women, those silent gen women, those greatest gen women in particular, they were very much about letting men go off and do what they want to do. They were huge on that. That's why in the past you had all these men groups and the Moose Lodge and that's why women were big on giving men space, give him his drink, let him go and do what he want to do, let him go on in the basement or the garage, or he want to go out with his friends. Older generation of women appreciated that. They were raised to expect that those were things men were going to do. So no, it would not have been a problem for my grandmother for me. I mean, I kind of miss the real flush of the. I guess I'm slightly old for the real flush of the gaming thing, but but I tell you this. My mother was very supportive of my comic book thing. She was very supportive of it. She was like, and the thing that she observed was, you know what, when you started reading those comic books, I didn't really understand. She told me, see, I didn't really understand, what it was all about because it just seemed kind of strange to me at first. But she said, what I noticed was, man, you were doing a lot of reading and you were like picking up dictionaries and shit. She noticed that and she bought me. I started consulting dictionaries to understand what I was reading in Fantastic Four comic books. And my mother noticed that and she nurtured that. She didn't totally understand it. Like I say, this is what, 1970, 1971. She didn't totally understand it, but she nurtured it and she respected it and she supported it. And women of those generations did that kind of thing. Unfortunately, y'all have not known those kind of women, sadly.
yeah, almost that's a big unfortunate because nowadays it's a very real thing that women have become nags. That's for sure. Because I didn't seen it. I didn't had way too many
Yeah.
friends You know, we was about to do something, but now we ain't finna do this because somebody negative about this. Boy, I know what's going on. You know. Go ahead, but well, you know what? I'm gonna do this, y'all, because it's Friday. We're gonna do a last statement. So, Great Black Reset. You was about to say something. You gonna get your last statement. Matter of fact, you in the proper space. So yeah, get your last one in, and we'll move on from there.
Hey man, I really enjoyed the show until all you niggas turned on me. It seems like y'all been hanging out with your boy Isaiah, but man, it's been a great show, man. I can't wait till next Friday, man. It's been absolutely fantastic.
Okay, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Usual business. What you got?
We
Last
we
comments,
we ain't
brother.
like that shit you were saying. You ain't like that shit you've been saying about MJ, bro. That's the problem.
Matter of fact, you just reminded me of something, Black Rule too. You just reminded me of something too. All right. Usual business. You got it, brother. You got
it. Like this, man. I'm gonna definitely tell you, man. Like I may not have been lucky enough to get, you know what I'm saying, what Black Uru got necessarily or Black Reset got, but luckily for me, I know what a woman that necessarily do act like that. So like I said, bro, it's $300 for the Caribbean, $500 for South America, and $1,000 for Africa, bro. Y'all go pick y'all place.
Okay. Black Rule, we're gonna skip past you because you just said something. We're gonna skip past you. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect, but you just said something. So we're gonna
No, we mean all the disrespect today, all of it. Yeah, yeah.
not really. Not really. Landlord Sims, what you got for us, brother? What you got?
Man, for one thing, these Chicago niggas hold grudges, so don't mess with them.
That's
And if
real
you
talk. Still
and if
mad at y'all about the Knicks
and if
way
you
back
could
in the day.
and if you could find a woman that could make you laugh, man, you definitely got a gem, bro. If she can make you laugh, you got a gem. But we not lonely, we just bored. That's why we talk to them. We only mess with them when we bored.
There you go. There you go. Red Pill Sleeper said, any last words you want to give before we go?
Be good to others, but first and foremost, be good to yourself first.
Sound about right to me. Sound about right to me. Tunnel Runner, what you got?
I just had some delicious coconut pancakes and some nice coffee.
Shit, here we go
The
again.
plan is for some barbecued,
I'm getting tired of him already.
jerked ribs with barbecue sauce. So I'm very happy today, and protect yourself at all times, brothers.
I
Peace.
hope you run out of barbecue sauce.
Me too.
Now that's
And they ain't got
petty.
no coconuts in the store
That's
either.
petty. That's petty. Okay. Got Nakati 3 times. Any last words you want to give out today?
Man, don't worry about people calling y'all lonely and things like that. It's just projection, all right? Stay hole free, man. Don't worry about them. They'll be alright. They tough, right?
All right, now I'm gonna say this real quick, and I'm gonna allow Black Ooh to chime on if he wants to. The rest of y'all, you're not from Chicago, so y'all just gonna have to sit through this one. But I'm gonna make this short and sweet to the point, because I've been hearing all this stuff going on online about Derrick Rose and Michael Jordan, and as a man who lives in Chicago, who is from Chicago, and don't ever really want to leave Chicago. All this stuff about Chicago, Jordan, Rose, who's bigger. I want y'all to know all this stuff came from people who don't live in Chicago. Chicago ain't picking between them two. We not. There is no discussion about who's bigger between Jordan, which we appreciate 6 rings, and Rose. Yeah, Rose from the hood. So yeah, South Side hood. He from that area y'all hear about on TV as the worst part of Chicago. Yeah, that's where Rose from. We ain't picking between them two. And I'm just gonna say sometimes, y'all, we got to check. I ain't gonna say it came from white supremacy that made it where someone's trying to make someone slight the other guy to have a better name than the other guy. Some of that's just a basketball perspective, and people want to feel like their generation is better than this generation. I think it's more along those lines. But at the end of the day, y'all, there's nothing going on in Chicago where Michael Jordan and Derrick Rose can't get the love they're supposed to get. Can Michael Jordan walk down the street in Chicago? Not really, because he's just that famous. And that's all it is to it. If he wasn't as famous as he was, could he walk down the street and everybody leave him alone? Absolutely, because we love him and respect him. Derrick Rose does that from time to time because Derrick got it like that. And Derrick, when you come from the worst parts of the city, you don't worry about security the way you would worry about it in a different area. And y'all keep in mind, these are professional athletes. They ain't little guys anyway. They can kind of protect themselves. That's real talk. But Chicago is not finna pick between no Michael Jordan and no Derrick Rose. We don't have to. We got both of them. Okay? We got both of them. Now, you ain't got them. I understand. From a sports perspective, you didn't have nobody from your city do it the way Derrick did it. I get that. It's a rare thing to have somebody from your city play for your town and represent the way Derrick was able to do so, especially before he unfortunately had those injuries. There's only one youngest MVP in the National Basketball Association, and that's just our guy at the end of the day. He's our guy. But he don't show up Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan don't show up him. We like both of their stories. So that's just what it is on that note. Black Roo, if you want to say anything about that, of course, being from Chicago, you can chime in, or we're going to leave it right there, and we're going to get on up out of here.
No, comparing Michael Jordan to Derrick Rose is a tough comparison. I would just put it this way. Derrick Rose, we love Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose came from us. Derrick Rose belongs to us. Michael Jordan belongs to the world. Michael Jordan is kind of like almost like a cosmic figure in a way, so it's not a fair or valid comparison. Michael Jordan sort of transcends sports even. He's kind of a symbol of human excellence. Right. So it's not even a real fair comparison. Of course, we love and adore Michael Jordan, but we can't really claim ownership of Michael Jordan. We can claim exclusive ownership of Derrick Rose. We can't really claim exclusive ownership of Michael Jordan. Like I say, Michael Jordan belongs. He was here, but he really truly belongs to the world. So it's not even a real valid comparison. And that's pretty much all I have to say about it.
And I'm going to say, shout out to Tony Robinson. He said, why do y'all Chicago niggas keep disrespecting Isaiah Thomas?
Exactly.
He said nothing about Isaiah.
Exactly.
He said nothing about Isaiah.
You're right, Tony. You're right, Tony. Don't listen to that.
First of all,
total disrespect.
Let's have this conversation about Isaiah. No. Isaiah had a team, and they used to come to Chicago. They used to punk the Bulls, and he was the leader of that team. So now you're punking the team. You're punking your home team, and you got to be able to get away with doing that for about 3 years, and then eventually you couldn't do it no more. And then when it was over, you didn't say, okay, man, y'all finally got us. It's all good. It's all, I'm great, you great. And that's it. That's all he had to do. But see, he's not man enough to do that.
Ooh.
He's not man enough to relent that this guy was greater. This guy was greater than me. He was greater than all of us. And nobody else really has a problem with admitting that but you. Magic don't have a problem. Bird don't have a problem. None of these guys have a problem. Hakeem, they don't have a problem but you. And here's the thing, and this is what I would say to Isaiah. Isaiah, you was never as good as MJ. When Mike came into the league, he was better than you. When he came into when Mike was on that Olympic team in 1984 when they were beating the teams of the professional teams. They beat them 8 straight times, 8-0. College guys, led by Michael Jordan, was beating professional teams that they put together in the run up to the Olympics. Mike was always better than you, man. What are you talking about? Mike was always better than you, Isaiah. He was always better than you, and he took Chicago from you. Let that shit go, man.
I think he just meant he dressed better than Michael Jordan.
As a fellow Chicagoan, I'm gonna say, shout out to Isaiah. You did well as a person from our city. Unfortunately, history had a way of playing things out where you were on the opposite side of the tracks, bro. You was in Detroit, and I respect you for doing what you could do to kill Chicago while you could. But when you couldn't kill us no more, you couldn't kill us no more. It is what it is. I hate you only when it comes to sports, but I love you and respect you as a man from Chicago. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? Because I love Isaiah Thomas. You know what I'm saying?
Pat Riley said it best. And they had lost to the Bulls in the 93 Eastern Conference Final. And this was after, this was 2 straight years they lost to the Bulls. And in 93, they were supposed to beat the Bulls. They had the better record. I'm sure you New Yorkers will appreciate this. And so they lose in the pivotal game of that series was game 5, which I would say the greatest moment in Scottie Pippen's history was at the end of game 5 in New York City, where he blocked Charles Smith 3 straight times.
Damn. Damn, Uru.
Shout out to
So
Charles.
then they came back to Chicago, and of course the Bulls blew him out, and then went on to play in '93 championship.
Yeah.
Pat Riley said something. Pat Riley had played for the. He was on that Knicks team that lost to the Lakers in the '72 finals, I believe. And he said at the end of that, after they lost that series, that was against Wilt and Jerry West and those boys, he said the coach, Red Holtzman, legendary coach of the Knicks, said to him, he said, well, sometimes the other guy is better, and it's just time for you to go home. And Mike was just better than everybody else, and everybody else had to go home.
But let me jump in here real quick and say shout out to Tony Robinson. I ain't gonna read all this, Tony Robinson, but I'm gonna say shout out to you because I see the sorry for all caps at the end, because we do not encourage people to use all caps here. And I got a sneaker suspicion he might be from Detroit.
This nigga man.
I got a sneaking suspicion he might just be from Detroit. He might be from Detroit,
I was with him till he turned into Corey Holt. Anton Daniels. I was with him. Goddamn, you can't do that,
man. Hey, y'all slow that down. I'm gonna say shout out to Tony because obviously Isaiah his guy. Now maybe he from Detroit. That could possibly be so I get it. And I hate Isaiah from a sports perspective. As a man, I'm good with Isaiah, but I hate that he was a Piston. Real talk. I hate that he led that team to beat up my squad. So I get it. I do get it. I do have sports hatred. I still don't like New York people because of them battles with the Knicks and them decades ago at this point, But I respect it, but only from a sports perspective. So, Tony, it's all good. Obviously, you respect the show because you said the thing about the all caps. So that let me know, okay, that's good. That's just your guy at the end of the day. Maybe you related to him. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you from Detroit. I don't know.
You remind me of one of my favorite songs. Songs. Sometime I dream.
got dizzy. Oh man, I'm telling you, we got the clip room when he be doing that, man. Oh my
We talking
God.
about we talking about being petty. When we talking about being petty, when we talking about being petty the other day.
Yeah.
Well, Tony said is after the NASCAR thing. People kind of been applauding Michael Jordan a little too much after the NASCAR thing, and I never even got around to that story. I never even got around to it. But I'm gonna say shout out to you, Tony. From a sports perspective, I respect anybody's hatred of other people from a sports perspective because I hate other teams too. I really do. I really hate other folks' teams. I really do, y'all. So from a sports perspective, I totally understand. And if Isaiah was your guy, it's all good at the end of the day. But everybody, make sure you subscribe if you ain't did this because this is the best show on social media. We do this 9 a.m. Chicago time, Monday through Fridays, y'all. 9 a.m. Chicago time. So make sure you hit for the next one. Y'all have a great weekend. Long live the Habitual Line Staffers. Shout out to Tony Robinson.
MVP.
I'm Roger. I'm right. And I'm out.